How's everybody doing today? Are we having a good day? Is everybody being excellent to each other? You better be, or I'll find out. Or I'll find out that you're not being excellent to each other, and I'll be sad. I'll be bummed out. You'll have bummed me out. What's up, guys? Be sure to stick around all the way to the end of the show for the Brian Laundrie news. Anyway, so today, the NYPD has arrested 17 alleged gang members in Brooklyn in pre-dawn raids. So, like, if you managed to be one of the few people here for the New Year's Eve stream, we saw the swearing in of the new mayor of New York. Mayor. Anyway, already some massive gang roundups, which probably for the best. I hate, I want to see what the charges are, or maybe what this investigation was. It sounds like it was from de Blasio, maybe. Like it's a pre-existing thing. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm gonna hit play on this. It's in the Discord in the lounge if anybody wants to pop in the lounge and screen share and hang out with us. Have a little watch party on the news, dude. Come on in. Come on in. All right. Let's check this out. Let's hear the good word. Or bad word? We'll find out. Morning, Christy.
In Brooklyn. Expect the unexpected. Dozens of NYPD detectives are getting ready to take down alleged gang members in a series of raids. The officers go over their plan of execution. Pix 11 is inside a tactical meeting as the final preparations are underway. But first order of business, a reminder.
Please stay safe out there.
Safety first because of the violent history of these
safe,
gangs. All are teenagers about to get an early morning surprise when these detectives arrive at their front doors.
Remember when you go through that door, everyone
Morning, Rock. Good to see you again.
Possess the gun or use the gun. Be cognizant of that when you go through. Safety, #1 priority today.
Detectives then suit up with equipment in hand.
Where'd my audio go? Where's the audio? It's turned all the way up. I was just frozen on Discord. That's some caca. Blue-doo-doo. Hopefully things are still rolling smooth. What's going on here? Come on, playback. There we go. There we go. Discord trying to be a little funky on us today.
Themselves on the roof of the building, and in minutes, one by one of the alleged gang members are in custody, including 17-year-old Giovanni Bennett. He's accused of firing a gun right outside of Metrotech in broad daylight.
Whoa.
A bullet hit a 19-year-old college student and
Whoa.
innocent bystander. Police also arrested these two 17-year-olds in connection to a mass shooting. 8 people shot. 1 died outside the Eleanor Roosevelt houses over the summer.
These 3 that came this morning are the worst of the worst that we brought in. These are the 3 individuals that ran around our Brooklyn streets with no regard for the community.
Man.
Deputy Chief John Schell, head of Brooklyn
Cold in
North
Ohio.
Detectives,
It's cold here in
tells Pix 11
Arizona.
This takedown just made
It's
the
cold here
streets
right now.
safer in the city. Overall, these alleged gang members of 3 crews are accused of 15 acts of violence, including 4 murders and 8 attempted murders. Police recovered 20 guns during the course of this investigation. An example Chief Schell says of what's to come.
Gang violence is an issue in New York City. This sends a message to them if they're out there. Heed what we're doing this morning, and if you continue, we're coming for you.
That message to everyone who picks up a gun. Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell
Right
just
on,
took
Christy.
over the department.
Yeah, it's
But
that kind of
this is
day.
the type of police work
It's just
she
that kind of
says
day today.
she will build on. Before the takedown, Sewell is brought up to speed on the case. During
I'll be honest, I feel healthy as fuck today. I feel so healthy today. I got the vaccine last week. I'm all the way out of the symptom range, and I feel great. I feel great. I feel better than I did before the vaccine for some reason. I think I was just getting healthier anyway. What up, Suf? On Twitch, what up? But yeah, I deep freeze in Canada. I bet, you know, in the desert it's hit like the 30s at night, which I'm hating and underprepared for. I have like hoodies and stuff, but I don't know how. I need to go get like a coat. You get like a big pea coat or something. Left my pea coat in Arkansas. But if I was to I might get stuck in Arkansas if I was to travel right now. I'm not trying to get stuck.
a briefing, the facts are disturbing, especially involving young people turning to violence. But this takedown mirrors Sewell's mission.
But my commitment to their quality of life and to the safety of the city will never waver.
It's only a glimpse of what's to come. Nicole Johnson, Pix 11 News.
A little bit. I comprehend French. So if you need to type in French, Souf, I can probably understand what you're saying. I might respond in English. But I, yeah, know a bit of French. Spanish, Hebrew, and Yiddish. Yes, I'm multilingual.
Hotel to make a duplicate key to get inside a woman's room and assault her.
He's now charged with attempted rape. KCTV5's Emily Rittman shows us how police use technology to make the arrest, and she joins us now live with that story. Emily?
Oh yeah, I felt nervous as shit, Sean. Just to address Sean there in the chat, he said I felt nervous as shit the first time I got the vax. I did. I was nervous as hell. I was nervous as hell. I stayed nervous for a minute too, and then felt like somebody punched me in the arm. It feels somewhere between, if you haven't had the vaccine and you're curious, little background on myself. I have an autoimmune disease and I got the vaccine. Even though my primary care said I probably shouldn't, but I'm tired of not being able to go or do anything. It feels somewhere between like a flu shot and getting punched in the arm. Like it felt like somebody gave me a flu shot and then fucking punched me in the arm. But no, like nothing that killed me. Again, I'm a very ill person. I have a chronic illness. And in theory, it could have killed me, but I'm all right. I could have had relapse and symptoms and things like that, but no flare-ups or anything yet. So, yeah. But yeah, I was nervous as shit. I was nervous, boy. Tired of not having it though. You know, I'm tired of not having it, and at the end of the day, things like that shouldn't scare somebody. A vaccine. I mean, it. Negative 27?
This investigation began on December 17th when Kansas City police were called to Hotel Phillips in downtown Kansas City. A woman reported that an employee working the front desk had sexually assaulted her inside her hotel room.
So I pulled up this news story today, gang, because I used to work front desk at a hotel, and I've done maintenance gigs, things like that. I've done a lot of, hotel and housing work, if you will. And I know exactly how sketchy this shit is and how easy it is to catch someone who did it. Like, you can catch this motherfucker pretty quick, honestly. And we'll see. We'll see how that goes. 13 people perished in a fire near you, Anna? I'm so sorry. Good Lord. Yeah, now me bitching about 33 makes me feel lame. This guy was charged with attempted rape. He made a duplicate key card, which is hella easy to make. Every front desk person at a hotel that you stay at has the ability to make new key cards. You need a new one. Most people need new ones when they stay at a hotel at some point in their stay, if you're staying more than 3 days. In my experience, commonality I've noticed. And I would make an extra key, kind of stash that shit back for you. I'm a good hotel employee, dude.
The woman told police she flew into Kansas City for a business trip. After having drinks in the hotel bar on December 16th, she said she interacted with the suspect, who was a front desk employee in the hotel lobby. The victim reported she checked and made sure her hotel room door was locked before going to bed on December 17th, around 2 to 2:30 in the morning. Shortly after 4 a.m., court records show the woman told police she was terrified when she woke to a man in her hotel room trying to sexually assault her. When she heard the suspect's voice, she believed she recognized it as the voice of the front desk employee. She told police she screamed at him to get out of her hotel room. Hotel staff provided police with a transaction history report for hotel room keys, an interrogation report for the locks of their hotel rooms, and surveillance video. According to court records, cameras showed the suspect making a duplicate key to the victim's room when no one else was in the lobby. Then police say he was seen on surveillance video entering an elevator. Investigators say hotel records show a duplicate key was used to unlock the victim's
Some of my
hotel
favorite
room.
people right there.
On
Debbie.
December 30th, police took Fletcher Clardy III into custody at the hotel. According to police, Clardy was advised by hotel staff that he was fired for multiple policy violations and making duplicate keys when not authorized to do so. KCTV5 completed the online media inquiry submission form on the hotel's website. A spokesperson responded that the hotel is an independently owned and operated property. The spokesperson said they will share KCTV5's inquiry to see if they wish to provide a statement. Clardy is charged with attempted rape, which is an unclassified felony. He is currently in custody. His bond was set at $150,000 cash. A bond review hearing is scheduled for January 10th.
If you or anyone you know has experienced sexual violence, there is a national sexual assault hotline. We'll have the number for you on your screen. That hotline is free, it's confidential, and available 24 hours. We'll also have a link on our website, kctv5.com. Reporting live, Emily Rittman, KCTV5 News.
Damn. That's fucking nuts. This barbershop was robbed at gunpoint. Let's maybe check that out too. You guys still feeling? You guys enjoying maybe having a little news in the background?
Turning now to
I know
a
it's not the
News4
crack of
exclusive.
dawn.
We just obtained new video of a barbershop stick-up in the Bronx. You're watching the moment. Two men flashed their guns and then robbed a worker at the shop. And tonight we're learning that this same crew allegedly robbed other people right after this. News 4's Mark Santia live in University.
Anna, when we covered the Mia Marcano story, a maintenance person he sexually assaulted and murdered somebody. Hello, Justin. It's good to see you, bud. Man. But I just... maintenance people, your front desk people, stuff like that. These, companies like, I forget what affiliated hotel dude was working at, but that should have been, I don't know if you can vet something like that. I don't know. You can't really vet someone's first crime, I suppose, but good Lord. I couldn't imagine having been that person's coworker or been the coworker. I've never had anything like that happen on any team I've been on, thank God. You guys have probably seen her pop in and out, Sharinda, on Facebook in our chat. I've worked with her. That's about the extent of type of people I've worked. Nice people. I've only worked with really nice people, honestly. I mean, it's sketchy. I've had a sketchy employer in the past, who, thank God, his deviancy wasn't necessarily attached to breaking into people's homes. He had more of a coercive way about him, but man.
I think the worst thing I've ever worked with is people selling drugs out of the store.
Oh man, that's gotta be shitty to deal with.
The first restaurant I worked at, the general manager was coked up all the time, and the cook was selling coke out the back door.
That sounds about right, man. You'll get some pirate kitchens where I've seen kind of a similar thing, just not with cocaine, with pills. And it's like, you got.
She started shaving hours off of people's checks too. So
the fuck?
She got busted for drugs and that all on the same day.
Holy snap! That's You know, I ended up quitting a job that I was at for a very long time that I loved. I ended up having to quit kitchens anyway, but there was a GM I had that ended up, like, I don't know, in a fist fight with someone above her in the parking lot right after I had quit. And I always regretted that shit, because the reason I quit was that GM, like, doing sketchy shit, you know, like being a sketchy, horrible person. She's a horrible
She got
boss.
fired shortly after.
Like, the week I quit, she got in a fist fight with like a regional, and they both got fired. Like, that's some old bullshit. It's just some bullshit. Like, I should have just stayed at that job. Who knows? I'd probably still be stuck at it though. I don't know what they did with. No, I would have had to deal with COVID if I would have stayed there. It was a university job. It was in the university kitchens. It's where I met special guests, and I really loved working there. I was kind of dragged into working there by a girlfriend of mine at the time when I was 18, 19. And stayed there for like 4 or 5 years. Loved it. Loved that spot. And it was like seasonal work, so I could still do music and shit. You claim unemployment when school's out. It was a cool gig.
Heights with the exclusive details on this, Mark.
Rana, police tell us these suspects are armed and very dangerous, pulling off at least 2 different robberies in the same day here, just a short distance away, and now the search is on for these men.
A heist inside a Bronx barbershop. One guy walks inside the place and shoves a gun in the face of an employee. The employee asked we not identify him, but he vividly remembers what the robber wanted.
Give me money. Where the money?
The victim then explains in Spanish
Se me quedó la mente en blanco y pensar que me iba a morir.
how he gave up the money, went blank, and waited to die. Minutes after.
Dude, I would hate being in that barbershop in that moment. Imagine getting a fade, getting your shit lined up. It's robbed like that. Dude, that's a nice looking barbershop too. It's not even like a, you know,
The barbershop robbery. This
your
video shows the
stereotypical
same suspects
broke-ass
step
looking
outside
barbershop.
into a neighborhood courtyard. They robbed 2 more unsuspecting victims in those red and yellow hats. The robbers rifle through their pockets. The man in the yellow hat tries to escape, but the robbers grab him by the neck and throw him to the ground. Police releasing these photos of the suspects from inside the barbershop here on Jerome Avenue and North Street. This employee stressing the importance of capturing the men.
Súper importante para que no sigan haciéndose daño.
Now, if you recognize the faces
crazy,
or
Anna.
the voices of those robbers, detectives want to hear from you. You can
Oh,
remain
Debbie, for
anonymous.
sure.
A reward is being offered. We're live tonight.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
University
check out
Heights
Prince
section of
Andrew here in a
Bronx.
bit.
Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Yeah, they really want Trump's name to show up in all the Epstein stuff, but like, I know there's got to be more Clinton attachment than Trump attachment, honestly. Let's see. Here's an alleged Capitol rioter after they received their sentence. I got a feeling we're going to hear some different types of rhetoric coming from the people who caught charges that day.
Former President Trump hit with 2 new lawsuits.
As we know, the original event organizers have already turned on Trump. And I don't see how people still support this dude.
It's from police officers who responded to the January 6th attack, alleging Trump directed the assault that left them injured and traumatized.
I'll check that out
Some of the
next,
people who
Anna.
rioted that day
Yeah.
remain defiant, saying
I'll put
that they
that on
didn't do
next
anything
for
wrong
sure.
and they have no regrets. Jessica Schneider is out front.
Like, if you ask me if I do it again, I want to say yes, but then
What is wrong with this guy's beard? Did he just edge it? Is this a fake beard? What's wrong with dude's beard? You guys see this beard? That does not look natural.
He looks like Wooly Willy.
He looks like Wooly Willy. Yeah, dude, he magneted. That's magnet shave. That's metal shavings. He dragged those on with a metal tipped pencil. Good lord. He dyes all of that and then shapes it up or something. He's got a real Keemstar vibe going on, where it's like you're 40, but you're trying to look like you're an ungraceful 28. You know.
Keyword is trying.
Trying to look like an ungraceful 28. Failing. Trying. A for effort.
Question in the back of my head, would I?
Former Proud Boy Josh Pruitt describes his past year as
Former
an
Proud
emotional
Boy.
train wreck.
I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but knowing the consequences that came out of it would be the part that would make me question it.
Prosecutors have laid out an array of
Dye
video
it
as
to match
evidence.
his hoodie.
Dude, he did. Look, there's gray when he was at Jan 6. Look, he's in the Punisher gear. Look at this dude looking like he came right out of a Five Finger Death Punch concert, dude. Good lord.
Was there a Five Finger Death Punch concert nearby?
I mean, it tracks for the vibe of that band. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple members showed up to jam at the riot. You know what I mean? It's oof, man. Anamoy, no, he was.
I mean, I know every protest needs a bard, but not them.
Not them. Nobody needs them as a bard. Good lord. Yo, one of my family's ancestral names from like Germanic history showed up in the game Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Alvis. Yeah, Alvis. My son's middle name is Alvis. Alvis. My great grandfather's name was Alvis, and it goes back to old Viking shit. So it was cool to see that in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it kind of
Valhalla.
reminds me of some names you'd see in some like Mennonite communities or something like that almost.
Exactly. It showed up here with like the German migrations. That name and that chunk of my family, which that's the same chunk of family that's still got some. I still got a German. That's my German cousin I talk about. What's up, Fidelis?
They call them the Whitewater Dutch, the ones that settled in our areas.
Yes, straight up. That's I believe where like my surname and stuff. I think that was the chunk of migration I think my family initially came with. Like we settled Northwest Arkansas then. Like came all the way out then. I think when it was still French Louisiana. Yeah, so like those old, well, like the cabin Arianthe moved out of. My great or great grandfather on one side built it, and my great grandfather chicken farmed out of it on the other side. So they've been there for a long time. I wonder if there's some inbreeding or something in my background. Nothing. Ancestry doesn't say I'm that genetic. I'm that bad of a genetic nightmare. But boy, we were in Arkansas for a long time, and there's not that many families that were there for that long. Like a handful, but yeah, no.
And a lot of them were already related when they moved there.
Exactly. My uncles who are they don't share that chunk of the family. They're my dad's half brothers technically, but they're my uncles, right? They used to say that when they first moved here, everybody had our last name and everybody looked alike, and it was creepy.
One thing a lot of people don't realize is that Ozarkers back in that area were way more traveled than people give them credit for.
Oh yeah.
And they would typically bring wives back from Appalachia.
Yeah. Like Kentucky, I got a bunch of, that's where a lot of my flavor comes from, is like, yeah, wives that were brought from somewhere else and into here is actually what it's turned out to be. That's yeah, absolutely how it happened. Actually, the inception though of my family, the reason that I had an ancestor hop on that migration, that initial kind of, what was it called? That Dutch migration, was he left his situation in the House of Lords in like Bavaria, married a woman with a weird Indian by way of India last name, and then moved here. And the rumor was that they had no legitimate children and my whole branch is adopted, but I'm genetically related to them. And I also have Indian genes from India. So yeah, he got that lady pregnant and bailed to America. Like he just barely bailed to America. So there's been I think behind every big dude like me, there seems to be an outsider that gets married, you know? Oh, it's from India. Yeah. I mean, Morningstar. Word, Anna. Yeah. See, I love Indian culture too. It's something I never understood why I felt familiar with a lot of the people, particularly people from Northwest India. I've always blended pretty well with people from like the Christian side of India, and that's where turns out I had an ancestor come from. So yeah, my my son though, I'm glad I gave him the name Alvis because we found out his mama is mostly Viking. Like she's old Scandinavian blood. Scandinavian on Old Norse blood. And yeah.
Against him.
Speaking of Scandinavian blood, look at how this motherfucker's acting. Bearded up, acting a fool for the wrong cause.
Seen confronting Capitol police officers after walking in through the shattered front doors. And inside the Capitol crypt, Pruitt is caught smashing a sign. All of it leading to 8 federal charges against him, including counts for destruction of government property and...
How much do you guys think that sign cost? Oh, your name's Dusana. That's awesome. That's beautiful, you know. Debbie, I think did Trump do that? I've been waiting for allegations to actually show up. See, I always thought maybe Trump's type was like big fake boobs, older ladies. But maybe he has done stuff with underage. I don't know.
I mean, his comments about his daughter are a little weird.
Those are weird as fuck. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot he does creep on Ivanka like a lot, like in a creepy way. Yeah. And then sometimes when he's not being creepy about her, it seems like he wants to Eiffel Tower a girl with his daughter. Like, why are you talking about her like she's your like gangbang buddy, dude? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Let's see.
acts of physical violence. But Pruitt defends his actions that day, clinging to the big lie that former President Donald Trump continues to spread and saying he has no plans to plead guilty.
I was just a patriot out there, protesting against what I think is a stolen election. Trying to send me to prison for a few years over this, I think, is a complete joke.
Are you concerned that you could be, in fact, sent to prison?
I am concerned.
Pruitt is among the more than 700 people now charged in connection with the Capitol attack. 70-plus defendants have been sentenced so far, about 30 getting jail time.
It does. I forgot about it. He is creepy as fuck to his daughter, dude. I completely forgot about that despicable trait.
Private jet to Washington.
That's how you know I really don't like somebody. When you have so many despicable traits, I can bitch till I'm out of breath and not even get through all of it. Not even get through, have forgotten big points, like he's creepy to his daughter. Dude, that's so creepy. So creepy.
And notably boasted that storming the Capitol was one of the best days of her life. Her lack of remorse, in part, prompted a judge to impose a 60-day sentence after she pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor. The judge saying he wanted to make an example of her after she shamelessly tweeted that she wouldn't get jail time since she has blonde hair,
he really
white
is,
skin,
Debbie,
and did nothing wrong.
All those 600 people that have been arrested are now wondering what's going to happen to them, and prison can happen.
Several of those sentenced are expressing remorse. Eric Rao got 45 days in jail after pleading guilty to just one count of disorderly conduct. Federal Judge James Boasberg admonished Rao for trying to undermine the peaceful transfer of presidential power, what he called one of the country's bedrock acts. Rao struggled to speak at sentencing, telling the judge, "There is no excuse for my actions on January 6th. I can't tell you how much this has just twisted my stomach every day since it happened." Another rioter, Robert Reeder,
because you got caught.
In jail. During his sentencing, he pleaded with the judge, saying he lost his family, his job, and his place within his church community after January 6th. "I am embarrassed. I am in shame," Reeder said. "The hurt that I have caused to other people, not just..."
I've been waiting for this moment since it happened. I remember saying to special guest and Angel, who were there, we were living together when it happened. We were watching it on TV together. I almost stood up on the couch and said, "I can't wait to hear them cry about how wrong they feel after, like, when they get arrested for this shit. Like, I can't wait for them to see the error in their ways and how they use their energy against themselves in a way they didn't fathom initially. Imagine playing yourself to that degree, flying coach to a riot. Now your trust fund is tied up in litigation. You're nothing but sorry. You got to do a month and a half. You've never done jail time. You're a thin blue line kind of person, and it's just meh. Hilarious.
To myself
Hilarious.
has left a permanent stain on me, society, the country, and I don't want to be ever remembered for being part of that crowd. Josh Pruitt, though, still
I've been
is
excited for the learning, for the education, for these people to see the error in their ways and to understand how they did wrong, where they did wrong, and why it's unacceptable, what they did and who they did it for. Maybe see the actual face of the person they were working for, and how he doesn't give a fuck about them. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about these people. He'd throw him into a fire if it, kept his house warm.
willing to admit guilt or cooperate with prosecutors. Video of Pruitt pledging to become a member of the Proud Boys in November 2020 went viral. Pruitt says prosecutors are asking him to help make the case against other Proud Boys facing conspiracy charges, but he claims he no longer associates with the extremist group.
I don't have anybody to throw under the bus, nor would I anyway. And I just, what I'm saying doesn't fit their narrative, because they would like me to come forward and...
Guess who I voted for without me saying anything? Did you guys see that TikTok he had posted? He's just showing his arms. He's just like, guess who I voted for? I don't know, dude. Did you vote for Muscle Milk? Who did you vote for, dude? You could be a liberal and be yoked. I don't know. But maybe. He does have the Dan Bilzerian fanboy vibe. Like, he really wants to be Dan Bilzerian.
And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Everybody thinks that people had all these plans of going in the building, and not to my knowledge. I was in touch with some pretty right-wing people, and we never heard anything about that.
While Pruitt waits out his
never heard
next
nothing
court
about
date,
that.
he spends most of his days inside his Nashville apartment, wearing an ankle bracelet and abiding by a 9 p.m. curfew.
And camo Crocs. Camo Crocs with the ankle monitor. Camo Crocs with the ankle monitor. Dude. I'm not sure if I'm offended by the drip, envious of the drip.
Some combination of the two, probably.
I think it's both. Yeah. Exactly.
I think that you're offended, that you're envious.
Yeah, I think I'm mad that he's made me envious. I think it's like, bitch, yeah, okay. I'd probably put on the camo Crocs too in your position, homie, but Lord. Guess this is what he should have posted on TikTok when it's like, guess who I voted for without me saying anything? And it's just the Croc with the ankle monitor. It's like, yeah, Trump. We know, baby. Trump, baby. This is what makes your voting preference more obvious than the tank top and the flexing.
Except when he's working as a bartender, something that is approved by the court. Pruitt expects his case to go to trial and says he still stands by the big lie.
I do believe the election was stolen, for sure.
And do you still believe that?
I still believe it.
And
Still
Pruitt
believes the
isn't
election was
only one. I
stolen.
spoke with several accused.
Man, thing I've noticed about that demographic, that Proud Boy demographic, is they just cannot take the L, dude. They just can't. They do not know.
Latch on to an idea and refuse to let go.
To the point, it's like the earth will be flat before they're wrong. That demographic, dude. And that's stupid as shit. Like, look, man, you're wrong sometimes. Okay, you just did a whole CNN expose on how you were wrong, why you were wrong, how you feel wrong. And you're still going to say the election was stolen? With what evidence, homie?
Even the companies that Trump paid to check the results agreed with the results.
Yes, those companies said exactly what I said in the midst of this shit, which was exactly what the analytics were saying coming from every major analytic firm and the people's own machines. It's machines. You know, yes, they're vulnerable to attack and corruption and everything, just like if they were counting them by hand. But this was coincidentally one of the, you know, rare elections where we had the fewest amount of like electronic meddling. They didn't find any of the shit Trump was saying was happening through Trump's own resources, like you just said, Justin. Like, called that shit, called it while it was happening, kept calling it. Wished I would have put money on it because I'd be a richer man today. Like, yeah.
Rioters on the phone. They wouldn't go on camera because of their pending cases or the fact that they wanted to stay out of the spotlight. But the handful that I spoke with, Aaron, say they
hopefully they do learn,
the
Anna.
election was stolen. And not only that, they don't believe it was just pro-Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol that day.
I miss Erin Burnett when she had the husky voice. You guys remember Erin Burnett like 10 years ago? Decade ago, Erin Burnett had this kind of like blowed out rusty, like husky thing going on. I liked it. She had, I don't know why she's trying to bring the bump it back or whatever. She got the bump in her hair. She got the kind of the helmet hair going on.
They tried to tell me that they also believe it was
Voluminous.
mostly members of Antifa. In the meantime, Aaron, the FBI
Offensively
is still going
voluminous.
strong in their investigation. Their latest numbers, they say they are still searching for about 350 people accused of violent acts right here at the Capitol. Aaron?
This is incredible. They're still searching in this country
Yes.
for 350 people. It's incredible. All right, thank you very much. I mean, the entire report, I want to bring in Michael Fanone, a former 20-year veteran of the D.C. Metropolitan Police. And of course, Michael, you were viciously attacked by rioters as you protected the Capitol. You know, this is so people can see you in the midst of this, you know, dragged in that crowd. And you, of course, are now a law enforcement analyst here with us, and I'm grateful to have you on the show. So as you're there and you're fearing for your life, and then you hear this report, this rioter say he didn't do anything wrong, that he would maybe even do it again. How does that even process through your mind?
I mean, I couldn't care less about you know, the individual rioters or insurrectionists'
Exactly, Anna.
perspective on that day. The only thing that I'm interested in with regards to their behavior is accountability. If there's evidence that they committed a crime, I want them.
This guy's been coming out like a motherfucker telling people to just, hey, don't get waterboarded. Just tell them what happened. Tell them what happened. Damn.
Them to be held accountable for those crimes.
Now, of course, you mentioned,
you know,
yeah, go ahead, finish your point.
If they are remorseful, the time, you know, for the to plead for the mercy of the court is at sentencing, and if they're not, you know, feel free to let the judge know that you're not remorseful for your actions.
And you know, she mentioned what, more than 300 people that they're still looking for. I find that shocking, Michael. I mean, I think to myself, my gosh, this is America. You have the FBI on this. You've got hundreds of hours of video and 300 people who stormed the Capitol that they want to, you know, charge, they can't find. And I know you're saying this is accountability is what really matters. And another officer who you testified with said earlier that if the people who perpetrated the attack aren't brought to justice, then it's not accountability, that it could happen again. Let me just play what Officer Ganell said.
Hold people who are responsible accountable, including those elected officials, because if they don't do that.
This guy called in hitting you with the car cam. Love car cam call-ins, dude.
This might be a recurring issue every 4 years.
Thus far, Michael, right? It's
do an
it's
episode
the
of the
people who
stream
actually,
from the tram. Should I do an episode of this of the talk show from the tram?
were there
Just
rioting,
on the
the
subway?
insurrectionists being charged, and 300 of them they can't even find. But none of the politicians who said the words and the lie that caused all those individuals to be there. Do you have any hope that the right people will
Vote for special guest, Sean. Vote for special guest. Special guest is of age. He can run for president. I think he technically ran once before. I don't remember what it takes to get on that shit, but or made a push to. I don't know. Vote special. Write him in. Write him in. Write special guest.
be held accountable?
Yeah, I mean, my experience as a law enforcement officer and as an American, I think that unfortunately many of these politicians are going to get away.
I have way too much
behind,
scandal to ever run.
You know, political speak and the idea that you know, that their words were not intentional. So no, I don't believe that there's going to be accountability for those individuals who are involved in the planning and preparation for that day, and also those whose insightful rhetoric resulted in the insurrection at the Capitol.
Fucking Trump.
So I know that you've talked about that day, and other of your colleagues have as well, the trauma that it caused, the real toll that it continues to take on their lives. And now, you know, when you look through that force, morale I know is low, staffing is in short supply. A Capitol police officer told the Washington Post, Michael, something probably you know, of course, better than anyone, but the quote was, "There's a dark cloud over Capitol Hill. I looked at officers' faces and they've changed. They've lost weight and they don't know why." The Capitol Police Chief, Michael, says the force is 400 officers short. 400 officers short, and they're citing fallout from the insurrection. What are you hearing from your former
Let's check
colleagues?
out this Philadelphia fire. Let's see, this is from 3 hours ago.
Hey, good morning to you. You know, police and fire officials confirmed 13 people have died in that fire. You can see a huge police presence behind me, a lot of fire crews here as well. We just saw a moment ago a firefighter going up and down that ladder. You can see a lot of smoke damage to the front of that home, that interior row home here on the 800 block of North 23rd Street in Philadelphia's Fairmount section. After that blaze, you know, the mayor is here, other officials as well. We're supposed to get an update in a short while. We're told right now investigators are trying to...
Why would Nancy Pelosi feel the need to run for president? She's the president right now. Whatever you say, Nance. That's a Joe Biden quote.
Figure out exactly what's happening. I do want to bring in one man. He heard a woman screaming a short time ago. Let me, 1 second. Okay, he actually has to talk to fire officials. Sir, can we ask you one quick question? Just what did you hear at the time?
Well, I just heard screams at like 6:30 in the morning. Again, I don't know if it came from the building or from the street. But that's what initially woke me up. So I think I don't know. My guess is it was someone just seeing this happen on the street. But that's initially what woke me up. So.
How big were those flames? And was the person saying anything?
I didn't hear like any specific words or anything. But yeah, the flames were huge.
Oh, Chris, yeah, I think they say like a heart attack or something on that dude. I think that's been changed though. I think they've since clarified what the ruling in that was. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
Just someone yelling for help.
Yeah, I couldn't really say. I couldn't make out what they were screaming. It's just what woke me up, and
it's horrible.
Yeah, so you can't really imagine something like this happening.
Did you know anyone who lived in that home? I mean, 13 people are dead.
I didn't know anyone. I've lived in this area for a few years now, so just coming and going, I've seen people. Again, lots of kids like they're reporting, so it's really sad to think that there could be kids who perished. I'm just thoughts and prayers with the families and the victims right now, so yeah.
And you know, it's not an easy job to battle flames in frigid temperatures. This happened around 6:30 this morning. Crews were able to knock those flames out within an hour.
Yeah, kudos to the fire department. They were here. I mean, I heard screams and came down within 10 minutes, and they were already here, so kudos to the quick response time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just sad.
Horrible.
Yeah.
How are you doing in all this?
I mean, I'm fine. I'm a little bit shocked, you know, just having seen the faces there and just, you know, thinking that, you know, that they could have perished.
What time did you hear something? Did you hear?
I just heard about 6:30. I heard screams, and again, I don't know if it came from the building or from the streets. A witness possibly. But yeah.
Did you wake at that time?
No, it woke me up. I just like, usually it's my cat waking me up. This woke me up immediately. So came down and flames and the fire trucks were here immediately. So
How big were the flames?
Flames and fire, man. Damn.
It's hard to say. They might have been a little bit above the top of the building. It's really hard to say, you know, I mean, it was just such a shocking moment. You know, everybody here on the street was out watching first thing in the morning, so, yeah.
This is a tight neighborhood. I mean, do you know your neighbors? Everyone get along well?
I don't know a ton of my neighbors, mostly just here that shared in my building, but everybody's very cordial and friendly, and again, I've passed by that house for years now and seen the faces, so it's just sad to, you know, think what might have happened. So.
Could you tell us who lives in them? Is it families or are they young children?
Just in passing, it looks like it had been families. I had seen quite a few kids on the corner there over the years, so
damn.
It's just sad.
It's heartbreaking.
You were saying your heart goes out to the victims.
Yeah, more than anything else, that's all I'm thinking about right now is the victims, the families. Yeah, what can you do? It's just shocking.
And you can still smell the smoke in the air. I mean, these flames really ripped through that home.
Yeah, definitely still smell the flames.
It's horrible.
Yeah, just hoping that, I don't know, something can, you know, obviously investigations have to happen, but hopefully
it's horrifying,
like this doesn't happen again and something can be prevented. So, I mean, as a neighbor, it's kind of a wake-up call to me to you know, understand what I should do in a situation like this. So, but again, I'm just more thinking about the victims and the families right now. So.
Stay safe. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. You know, there was a neighbor right there.
Well-spoken neighbor
of the street. Just, you know, he heard the sirens around 6:30 this morning. That's when fire crews were called to this devastating scene where 13 people have died here on North 23rd Street in Philadelphia's Fairmount section. Crews were able to knock those flames out within an hour, pretty quickly, especially in these frigid temperatures. It's not an easy job to do, but, you know, police and fire crews confirming 13 people found dead. A lot of the front of that home, a lot of smoke damage to it, and a lot of crews still on scene working to figure out what happened. A lot of police here as well. The Philadelphia mayor was spotted a short time ago, and we're also told Council President Darrell Clark is on his way, his district covering this area. You know, it's heartbreaking to report this type of news. You can just hear how tight-knit this community is. These neighbors are. They know each other, even if it's just through passing, but it doesn't you know, make it any easier to think 13 of your neighbors died in this fire, Jim.
So, Matt, we've got some more information coming in from our sources here into the CBS 3 newsroom. First of all, we understand that the Philadelphia Housing Authority actually owns this property. I'm being told by a former neighbor that this was originally a 3-apartment brownstone that was...
Graf, I remember when all those hoverboards did that. Graf, when those malfunctioned and caused fires. I wonder if it was something that just malfunctioned and caused fire, or if it was faulty wiring, or a crackhead, someone that needs some milk. I don't know. Man, it's crazy that it took 13. It took 13 people with it. That fire. That's horrifying. Horrifying. Goodness. See what CBSN has going on.
Should anyone who was involved with intelligence before January 6th still be involved with intelligence after January 6th?
I can't speak.
Jan 6 is the topic of the day today. We're getting close to the anniversary and people want to get that content out there, I guess. There was no smoke alarm, Anna? Damn. Yeah, smoke alarms, you know, I more residents than not, in my experience in apartment maintenance, remove their smoke alarms. Look, they're a pain in the ass. If you smoke inside and you're breaking lease doing so, I understand the fear and why you take it down, but maybe come up with an alternative that's not near your smoking place or something. Do something for your safety, because, yeah, smoke alarms are kind of important. They're pretty important. Even if I pull them out of a wall, I might keep a battery packed one on somewhere in a house just in case, you know. But I don't know, parent, I've had experience in maintenance, so I've seen buildings straight up catch. And if you don't have one in your place, yeah, grab one, get one. Get one that works for you if you don't like the one that comes with your place. I genuinely think they're worth it. It's an insurance thing, man. I might be able to catch a link sometime and throw it in a description for like $5 smoke alarms or something that you can just kind of stick in a corner somewhere with some like GM tape, double-sided tape. You know. 9-volt batteries are too inconvenient for some people, says Graph. Yeah, I don't like the 9-volt battery ones. They make some that are smaller, compact, and run on a watch battery and don't have to wire into a whole complex's system. You know, some places, like the place I'm in now, has a fireboard, and all of these are wired into the fireboard, so when it goes off, the fireboard is notified, and, you know, might end up with a call or something. In a hotel, it's even more so. You know, if your smoke alarm goes off, the front desk knows. They know immediately. A thing goes off and they call your room. Hey, you okay? You all right? Here, your smoke alarm's going on. So, yeah, I understand like not wanting privacy invaded, things like that, but there are independent alternatives that keep you safe and are well worth it, in my opinion. Well worth it. Whoa, why did it take 2 years for a girl to be reported missing? What do you got for me, News Nation?
7 years old.
I don't remember which murky it was turned me on to News Nation, or where this is broadcast. They cover a lot of true crime. They cover a lot of trials. And they never copyright strike me. And I like News Nation. Yeah. So shout out whoever turned me on to this news outlet, this program. I like it.
Missing more than 2 years. So why is Harmony Montgomery only being reported missing now?
We talked about Harmony Montgomery yesterday,
Plus,
I believe.
A secret
Briefly.
sex assault agreement is secret no more. Why Jeffrey Epstein's mysterious settlement could be music to Prince Andrew's ears. That is, if the judge agrees. And then, she fancied herself the next Steve Jobs. Only now Elizabeth Holmes is going to have to trade in that black turtleneck for an orange jumpsuit. How did she hoodwink so many bigwigs for billions? And finally, trapped on 95 as temperatures plunge. They were cold, hungry, and looking for a miracle. And they got one, fresh out of the oven. It's all next.
Brain Laundry.
Welcome to Banfield. If you have ever had small children,
It's definitely where I
you know
found
the sheer panic that grips you the moment you realize they are out of sight for more than a minute. 5 minutes, and you are seized with fear, and it is bordering on terror. And more than that, you are calling the cops. So it is no surprise that people who have heard the story of 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery, now missing more than 2 years, are apoplectic that she was only reported missing this weekend. Tonight, the desperate search is on, one that should have started 26 months ago. Just over the weekend, police in Manchester, New Hampshire put out a missing child alert for little Harmony. And ironically, the last people to see that little girl were officers themselves.
What?
Back then, Harmony was just 5 years old.
Whoa.
Police paid a visit to her home after a call for service, but they're not saying what kind of service they were called to the home for. Instead, they themselves seem as surprised as any of us that she hasn't been seen since that call. This is what the Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg said at a press conference.
Manchester Police became aware of this week, and I know people are going to say, well, here it is 2021, almost 2022, and nobody's seen this young girl since late of October 2019. So what's happened in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Fair question, all right? That's why I'm here today, because we need assistance, we need help, and we don't have many answers to many questions that we have.
What, did COVID happen and they just stopped fucking looking or caring or didn't take the call? What the hell? Why did it take 2 years? He didn't even answer.
On Sunday, police searched the
Just
home
that
where
we need
officers
help.
say they last saw Harmony, that father's place. It's a home now owned by a person unconnected to the case, but where Harmony's dad once lived. Witnesses say they saw police put up tents there and spread out tarps in the backyard while police searched in that yard. A crime scene van was also spotted in the driveway, but the police are not saying anything about that search yet. Police also say they've interviewed, quote, many of Harmony's relatives, but they won't say which ones.
What the fuck?
They are not yet officially even releasing her mother's name, but a woman named Crystal Sori has been identified by news reports as the mom. And Crystal Sori posted several messages on Facebook last month saying that she and her family, quote, have filed dozens of reports of abuse and neglect, and nothing was done until I called the police and wrote a letter to the New Hampshire mayor. But all of those Facebook posts have since been deleted.
Whoa.
The Manchester mayor, that office did tell the Washington Post that they received an email last week with concerns about both Harmony and the New Hampshire Department of Child Services. Mayor's office says they responded and forwarded the information to the police. Another woman who says that she's Harmony's older cousin has said that Harmony was known to be in the custody of her father. That claim has not yet been confirmed by the police either.
The fuck?
Media reports identify the father as a man named Adam Montgomery. Another man named
in Discord
Kevin
or in
Montgomery
YouTube?
told the Daily Beast that he's Adam's uncle. And he says he called the Department of Children, Youth, and Families back in July of 2019 after he saw Harmony had a black eye. But he says nothing ever came of it. He then says 3 months later,
Yeah, I've got
he
it turned
called the
down in
police
Discord.
out to the house where Harmony was living with her father and other family members. And if you do the math, 3 months from July 2019 is October 2019, and that is when police say they last saw that little girl. And talk a little bit about the investigation. Gil Alba is a former NYPD major case squad detective. He has been working with families to find missing people for 20 years now. Okay, Gil, geez, this one, I'm sure when it crossed your radar, I'll bet you thought, what on earth? How could this happen? So my first question to you is, kids can't just vanish. There's a system in place. There's, official school paperwork has to be filed. You can't just disappear without a trace unless you're stolen, and usually people will say something right away. So give me your thoughts on this.
You have to understand, when a child is missing, especially with the police department, all the police officers go after that and want to find that child, and they take it personally, especially with the kids. So I know they're doing a timeline from the time she went to school. She was registered in school. I don't know if the father came and took her out of school, so because they never called. Otherwise, they would have been looking for her. For 2 years, actually, nobody has been looking for her. Nobody has been searching for her. And, even the mother, said she was making all these complaints. I'm not sure about all that. But now the police are putting everything together, and that's why they were over that house. It was the last place they saw, where she was. And I'm sure maybe somebody complained that he was in the backyard or digging up something or in a driveway, and that's why the police are trying to find any kind of evidence, DNA, anything they could find. Now, the tough part about this is that they can talk to everybody, and then the father is the last person that was with her. He doesn't have to talk to the police, so that's the hardest.
Oh, sus as fuck. This doesn't sound right.
Part about anything like this, and when you don't get his part of the story, it's really becomes a tough case, and that's why police have all these officers working on this case, trying to get as much information as possible and try to solve this case, which is not an easy case after 2 years. And you see the little girl, and when he says how many places that they lived already, that's a heartbreaking in itself. Those two kids, when you see
nine,
that,
right?
really
I think he said
together.
nine.
Nine
Gosh,
places.
9 foster homes.
That's
These
kind of
kids
crazy.
were, 5 and 7, for heaven's sake. Okay, I want to play something right now. It's the chief of the Manchester Police when he was giving his press conference, and this was about. Everything was so kind of vague and nebulous, which also bothered me, right? I was trying to get all the information I could get, and we got sound bites like this. Take a listen.
October 2019 timeframe is when Harmony was last seen in the city of Manchester. All right, and that was by a combination of the Manchester Police Department and some other entities as well. All right, so that's at October 2009 timeframe when she was last seen in the city of Manchester.
Whoa.
Okay, I don't know what that means. When you said the Manchester police were there for a visit and other entities, I'm only going to guess, and maybe you are more wise to this than
Unnamed
I am.
entities?
Maybe the other entities were the State Division for Child or Children and Youth and Families, and maybe there's a privacy concern. They can't say officially that the family services were visiting, but for God's sake, this little child has been missing 2 years. I think that that's the least of our worries, is saying who the last visitors were.
You know, especially when the police were there, child services were there. She supposedly had a black eye or something to that effect. She didn't look good at the time. So absolutely nothing happened with her all this time for the 2 years. And it seemed like nobody cared up to this point, except you know, somebody wrote a letter, which I'm pretty sure is the mother who wrote that letter, and then that's when all this action took place, where the police are looking for her. Now, there's two ways they're looking for her. Is now they're going to search and ask everybody to come forward. They got rewards and everything else. And on the other hand, could something have happened to her? And that's why they have to go in two different directions at this particular point. And that's why probably the search on the grounds. So they're going to continue this, and they're not going to give up. And it's like I said, it's not going to be.
Let's see if we can find, I'm interested to see maybe a comprehensive timeline, if anybody has a Harmony Montgomery. Let's do like a timeline. Some Inside Edition. There's the press conference itself. Let's see here.
A child hasn't been seen since 2019, but police say they were only notified of that recently.
As you know, more than 2 years has passed since Harmony was last seen. That puts us at a disadvantage, and the public's help is greatly needed.
Harmony Montgomery would be 7 years old now. The last known sighting of her was when police in Manchester, New Hampshire say they responded to a call for service at her home. The chief would not give details about that call or say who the child was with at the time. But now they're asking for anyone who might have seen her over the past 2 years to get in touch with them.
I cannot emphasize enough how important any and all tips are. Even if you believe you saw this little girl a year ago or 2 years ago, please call in. Knowing where she was can help us narrow down where she is now.
Harmony is believed to be 4 feet tall now. She has blonde hair and blue eyes and wears glasses. While police aren't revealing much about their investigation, they say they are still hopeful that they will find Harmony alive and well.
This is not a recovery. All efforts are focused on that Harmony is alive, and we are going to do everything we can to find her in that condition.
Anyone with information on Harmony Montgomery
2 years
is asked
ago,
to call
police chief.
in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Horrifying.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
You're supposed to be there for your kid, man. The Minneapolis mayor held a press conference over what? Over what? COVID? Violent crime in the city.
We wanted to join with all of you here today.
It's like becoming like Batman speeches by the mayor becoming a real thing.
We've seen in our city over the last several months. Let me be exceedingly clear. The violent and criminal conduct that we have seen.
How did somebody miss Harmony? Well, I'm not done with Harmony Montgomery on this channel. We're gonna keep.
Is garbage.
So see if I can't build a timeline on.
And tell you, and many will.
Well, where the hell this girl was.
Every single major city in the entire country is seeing an uptick in violent crime, in shootings, carjackings, home invasions, and that's true. But who cares? You live in this city. I live in this city, and we are responsible to making sure that we are doing everything possible to preventing, this kind of violent and criminal conduct and holding perpetrators accountable and working on every single possible upstream solution that we can. We need to be working towards upstream solutions. We need to be providing a compassionate and empathetic response. We owe that same level of detail and concern for those victims of some of these crimes. This is absolutely unacceptable, what we have seen. You know, safety, it is also foundational to every one of the major goals that we have.
What's going on in Minneapolis?
From
Is it
economic
getting that
recovery,
crazy?
To stable and affordable housing, to job security, to making sure that our city bounces back as we move through this pandemic. All of these things require a foundational element of safety. And the Minneapolis Police Department is working very hard right now to boost enforcement operations, to make sure that they're dedicating the necessary and limited resources that they have to have a comprehensive and multifaceted approach to some of the crime trends that we're seeing. And I've been meeting with Deputy Chief Huffman here, who will be our interim chief very shortly, on a near daily basis, and you'll hear from her shortly about the work that is already underway. But she is directing this increased enforcement to areas that need it most. We're making sure to focus a lot of the enforcement mechanisms that we have in the areas, for instance, where cars are being dumped after a carjacking. We're using data and some of the investigative resources, as well as multi-jurisdictional partnerships, to make sure that we are both holding perpetrators accountable, but also preventing crimes before they happen. And of course, and you've heard about this, we have had some really significant attrition over the last year and a half, which requires additional recruiting efforts over the next year and, in fact, several years. You've heard us say that we have 5 additional recruiting classes that will be coming online this year. We had our first class sworn in just a few weeks ago, towards the end of 2021. The next class is set to start their training in February. They will then get sworn in June. The class after that will start the training in May. Will get sworn in September. The class after that will start their training somewhere in the range of August and then get sworn in early 2023. So recruitment
right on,
efforts are
Christy.
underway, but we need to do even
Again,
more.
sorry,
We've
this is
anticipating
typical
around
public news
25
conference. It's panned
officers in at least the first couple of
hard
classes
left.
that I just mentioned. There is a national shortage of applications of people to become police officers. And so we need to be doing everything possible right now to boost our recruitment efforts to make sure that the best, brightest, most talented, and community-oriented people are signing up to become a police officer in Minneapolis. We want to make sure that if you care deeply about
Rittenhouse
your community,
stuff,
if you
huh?
want to be the change in the Minneapolis Police Department, we're asking you to sign up and apply. You can be that change in our department.
If you're a Rittenhouse type,
You can
please don't be a
part
cop.
of this transformation that pushes towards, yes, more accountability, but also deeper connections between officers and the communities that they are charged with protecting and serving. That is an effort that needs to happen right now in Minneapolis. In fact, this is a campaign that needs to happen statewide to ensure that we have the necessary pool of officers that are in fact applying, and we can get the best and most talented
People aren't
individuals.
signing up to be
Now,
a
I've said
cop
it before, and I'll
anymore.
say it again. One of the aspects that I believe that mayors, governors, elected officials, police chiefs around this country are going to have to understand is that police officers need to get paid more and fired more. They need to get paid more so that we are incentivizing the best, most talented, community-oriented officers to sign up for what, yes, is a very, very hard job. And we need to make sure that when those officers do not live up to the values that we have instilled and that we are insisting on, they are fired, and we're able to hold them accountable. Both of those things need to take place, and I think that's something that is hopefully being realized nationwide. And so we've got these recruiting classes, of course, that are coming on board, but we need to, in fact, make sure that they are filled. It doesn't do any good to have 5 recruiting classes that don't have the necessary recruits going through them.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling on everyone right now to be the change. I'm calling on everyone to make sure that we have a city that is safe, that our community partnerships are in place, and that we're working together to fight.
Damn, Anna. Yeah, no, Philly's crazy.
Grave problem that
Philly
we're
gets
seeing
rough.
in terms of crime and specifically violence. We're also building our bench through our community service officer program. This is the program, as you may remember, that was cut by the council last year or a year and a half ago. And then I added back into my budget. This is one of the best ways to get people that don't necessarily have the background or expertise yet want to do the job into the police department. This is a way to build the bench. This is a way to bring new officers in. And by the way, just yesterday, we opened the most recent community service officer application program. So again, if you're thinking, hey, I want to be part of the change, I care deeply about my community, but I'm not sure if I have the necessary experience.
I don't know, man. We're kind of forcing police reform by lack of recruits, it looks like. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. What the fuck is it? Oh. Guys, there's a trial going on live. This kid apparently dismembered his parents. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, Sean, did you get ripped titties this morning? Yeah. It's the day for it. Pardon me. Let's see if it'll let me. I wanted meaning to do something on this program for a minute. Let's see if it drops my stream when I try. They're playing some of the Subaru leaving, I guess, with dismembered parents. This is crazy. Is this the fucking first day? This is day 2.
Able to and can responsibly and safely testify without a mask, we would ask that you do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go right ahead, counsel.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record and spell?
Lux is home. What up? What up? Did you put out some fires? You crushing it?
I think so.
You glad to be home?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. We're glad to have you. There's a trial going on in Wisconsin. A man apparently had dismembered his parents and drove them away in a hashtag Subaru.
Fuck.
Yo, that Crosstrek is spacious. Funny story about the Subaru Crosstrek. I have only heard Southern people say Crosstrek, and so I thought it was Crosstrack until I actually saw it on the back of a Subaru Crosstrek the other day. I was like, oh, okay. I see. I see now. Oh. Stream getting a little buggy.
Both your first and last names.
Yes, it's Sabrina Sims, Sabrina Sims.
How are you employed?
I am a detective with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been employed in that capacity?
Rock says hello.
I've been a detective for 14 years.
Sean says one cool chick. And Graf says
and are you
hello.
one of the two
Erica
police
also
detectives
says
assigned
hello.
to
What
this
up,
case?
Erica?
Yes,
Glad
I
you're
am.
here.
I just want to talk to you very briefly about how you go about investigating a missing persons case. What are sort of just generally the steps that you go through as a detective?
Sure. So
The
usually
ticker's trying
initially
to
those
freeze.
are reported to deputies who we've already heard from. Based on the information they receive, we do follow-up interviews. Sometimes that leads us to
Where did the audio go? Where's my audio? Where did my audio go? That's not right. Let's see if this helps, maybe.
information to your investigation.
There we go.
It's very important. The information we get early on leads us in certain directions sometimes.
So I've heard like nothing about this. This is crazy. Hold on. Let me get a little recap on this. Now that we have a live trial and a missing person, it looks like the true crime element of the show might be coming back. Wow. Here's day one.
That the opening statements are not evidence.
Prosecution's opening statement. Let's hear what the state is charging this man with, because I am
The left HDMI.
discovering this.
While he's doing that, I'll promise you he'll give you a copy of that, by the way. You don't have to remember all of those instructions. My name is William Brown. I'm the Deputy District Attorney of Dane County. Yesterday you met Andrew
The drip
Lane.
daddy
Together,
of
we're the
Dane County.
prosecutors in the case. You heard a little bit about how the process worked in jury selection, and you probably thought you were being strung along the whole time, and in a bit you were.
Christy also says
Everyone was trying
Lux.
to
Debbie also
gauge
says Lux.
Your knowledge of the case, maybe any preconceived notions you had about the criminal
She in the fur
justice
coat
system.
today.
Ms. Vera asked you a lot
It's
of
that
questions
cold.
about what you would think if she did nothing and
It's
sat
actually
there.
not too bad.
And those were good questions.
I guess I should
When I
say
took the
it too.
Look! Justin also says look.
Trial.
When I took the trash out, it wasn't
You're
so
going to
bad.
hear from me and Ms. Raymond.
The sun's out.
Yeah.
Our job in a case is to present evidence. That means to call witnesses. The judge talked about what evidence is. When we think of evidence, sometimes we think of, especially a murder case. You're in a murder case. You think of the gun. And you'll get that. There'll be a gun. You'll see that. But evidence is so much more. The first thing evidence is the first thing the judge mentioned. Evidence is first the sworn testimony of witnesses.
I know what
direct
evidence is.
When people raise their right hand and they swear to tell the truth,
All right, maybe I do want a
That's
news recap.
now you as jurors can decide whether you believe it or not. Does this person have any bias or prejudice? Do they have anything to gain by what they're saying?
Halderson.
Do they have anything to lose? All those things are up to you. But sworn testimony is evidence. Photographs are evidence. Videos are evidence. Statements made.
Chandler Halderson. What did you do? He's an Eagle Scout.
He essentially told the police a web of lies regarding things they were packing, items they were taking or not taking, even indicating that there were messages between him and his parents while they were gone. That
bad.
all, he alleged, occurred on the 2nd of July. Eventually, Mr. Halderson, obviously, on the
I have a quirk, guys. I forget to put the trash bag in the trash, and then I'll put trash in the can because I forgot. I'll think about rebagging it.
Oh, new bag. Look down. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, my bad. I tried multiple times to change my ways on that and have been unable to. I think I'm stuck this way.
then reports his parents
Of course.
missing after they've been gone for 5 days at that point, and an investigation has started.
What a story here.
You tell me, Danny. I haven't heard about that.
Chandler
Links.
Halderson is accused of murdering his own parents. Not just killing them, but dismembering them and scattering their remains all over Dane County out in Wisconsin.
Whoa.
This is a brutal case. Here he is. Here's the defendant. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
Why does he have like a hole on his Adam's apple? I know I've got it kind of small here on the screen, but good Lord.
He may be wearing a mask during the course of the trial. I don't know if the jury's necessarily going to see him, but what was going on here? What are prosecutors going to allege is the motive? I don't know if we've heard anything about that yet. But let me show you the victims. There's mom and dad.
Wow.
And the story apparently from Chandler Halderson was that his parents went to their cabin for the July 4th weekend. But prosecutors say they were already dead, and he was busy getting rid of the remains and then told them a whole bunch of lies. I want to show you another piece from his bond hearing. This, again, is shortly after he's been arrested in July of 2021. Chandler Halderson appearing, and the prosecutor talking about some of the evidence in the case. This is the next live trial here on Court TV. Opening statements are scheduled for tomorrow. Let's watch.
So back on July 7th, Mr. Halderson made contact with the Dane County Sheriff's Department reporting that his parents were missing. In that contact, Mr. Halderson made a great deal of statements indicating where he thought his parents were, sending police essentially on a wild goose chase throughout the state of Wisconsin, looking for them with an unidentified couple. He essentially told the police a web of lies regarding things they were packing,
what are
items
his
they
motives?
were taking, not taking, even indicating that there were messages between him and his parents while they were gone. That all, he alleged, occurred on the 2nd of July. Eventually, Mr. Halderson, obviously on the 7th, then reports his parents missing after they've been gone for 5 days at that point, and an investigation is started. In working on that investigation, police made contact with a great deal of people who had contact with Mr. Halderson in that time period between the 2nd of July, which is the last known time anyone has seen Mr. Halderson's parents, and through the day that they were making that contact. A witness that personally knows Mr. Halderson and has seen him on many occasions, who lives in rural Dane County, reported seeing Mr. Halderson's vehicle with him in it, parked in a kind of an odd location near a wood line on their rural property. She did report that to police when they were speaking to her. That reported date that Mr. Halderson was at her property was on July 5th. Police were able to search the wood line by this, where the car was parked, where he was seen walking out of the woods and getting in the car. And they did find the remains of Mr. Halderson's father. The remains, unfortunately, have been dismembered. We only found portions of Mr. Halderson. The medical examiner has positively identified the remains as, in fact, being Mr. Halderson's father. In performing an autopsy of what was available, they were also able to confirm that the cause of death was homicidal violence by gunshots. So at this point, we have an extremely complex investigation. We have a defendant who had 6 days essentially to hide evidence of this crime and lied to police in the course of this missing persons investigation, which he instigated. He has lied dozens of times in the course of this investigation. He is now seen leaving the area in which the dismembered remains of his father were found with gunshot wounds. And police are obviously still engaged in an extremely broad search for the remains of his father and of course, his mother.
Damn.
They found his mom's legs in another area of the county and positively identified them. This is, it's gruesome, but what is motivating this, and will this be enough evidence? I mean, from where I'm sitting, sounds pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
You're at the scene of the crime. There's got to be some explanation for that. I don't know what the explanation is going to be. Let's bring back in our think tank. Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy, Casey earlier.
This kid's really saying innocent.
Casey, let me ask you a question. If Chandler Halderson is your client, and he comes to your office, or you visit him on the inside if he's locked up, and you have that first conversation, what kind of questions would you have for him?
Well, I'll start with the background, how his relationship was with his family, because if there's any question of his mental capacity, then obviously I want to get him evaluated so that if he is declared incompetent, then he'll receive the proper treatment until his competency is restored. It takes a special type of person to commit a murder, but it takes an even more special type of person to not only kill their parents, but then take the extra step of dismembering the body. So as a defense attorney, you want to look for those red flags to see if all the circumstantial evidence is pointed towards your client. Is there something more that could have possibly caused him to commit this crime? That could be a defense at trial. So definitely look into his background as well as any closely connected friends or any possible motive in preparation for a defense.
Michael Bixson, I'm trying to anticipate what the defense could potentially be here. I don't know, we've had a string of self-defense cases here at Court TV, but mom and dad, are you going to allege self-defense? I don't know, somebody else did it and you just happened to be there? Are you going to attack the eyewitness testimony? Where do you think the defense is going to be, what the foundation of that defense is going to be?
I think the one thing that's clear is that
they're probably going to be highlighting the fact that this is definitely a circumstantial case, at least from what we've seen so far. And granted, as the trial unfolds, we'll definitely learn a lot more about it. We know about the lies. We know about there being a gun being found and bullet casings. So there is a lot of circumstantial evidence here. Whether or not they're going to exploit any other type of defense, whether it be self-defense, whether or not, there is another party to be concerned about, whether or not he has an alibi, that obviously remains to be seen. But so far from what we do know, I do think that it's absolutely certain that they will, at the bare minimum, be exploiting the fact that this is a circumstantial case. And while it is possible to convict someone on that, obviously those aren't the best cases.
Teresa, I'm a former prosecutor, but even when it comes to eyewitness testimony, I have to be convinced, because I know if something happens and 4 people see it, you're going to get 4 different versions of it. So I always take it with a grain of salt. I need a little bit more than just eyewitness testimony. But this eyewitness testimony is really troublesome. If he is, for some reason, in some strange area near the wood line, and it just so happens that's where they find Dad's torso.
Right, Special?
Absolutely. I mean, it is, something to consider. And the fact of the matter is, if you have a case and you have to explain away every single fact, usually that's not a really good case.
Special, that's crazy. You all right? Why'd you have to go to the ER? I hope you're okay. Damn. What? Chest pains, shortness of breath. They said I have indicators of heart attack, so I'm going with anxiety attack. Gotcha. We gotta get you with primary care. We gotta figure it out. About to get a job just to put you on my insurance. Good Lord. We gotta get you set up.
So
with the doctors.
I also am waiting to see what the defense is going to be in this case, because quite frankly, the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming. I think that, even
they not have an EKG or anything available? They not scan your heart with indicators of a heart attack? They not even... Oh, 0 indicators of a heart attack. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, probably anxiety attack. Damn.
The testimony of his friend who talked about giving him the guns and all the ammunition.
Hopefully you ain't got COVID.
And then doing the ballistics and then finding the bullets at the house. It's a very strong circumstantial case. And as far as eyewitness
it's going around
testimony,
hard.
One of the witnesses actually knew him. And they took the initiative to call out to law enforcement after they saw the interviews to say that they'd seen him on that day. So I think his behavior at the time, combined with all the other circumstantial evidence, is really a really tough road for him to kind of go through. So I, like my colleague said, would really look into some mental health issues here, because it takes a special person to commit a crime like this.
Yeah. Also an Eagle Scout, by the way. We'll figure it out. We'll have opening statements tomorrow morning right here on your front row seat to justice, and both sides usually lay out what their case or what they believe their case is.
All right. Someone mentioned a Russian rocket out of control, but brought up a story without dropping links. Expected to crash. Russian rocket out of control. Second search. Breaking live tracking of massive out of control Russian rocket to slam into Earth in 8 hours. What? That's quite some jams they've got going on. Oh, okay. So people are tracking it live. That's cool. I might keep that open on another page. Keep the live track of this Russian rocket. It's going to smash into Earth in 8 hours. Here's another real-time tracker. This one's from Cosmo Sapiens. Let's see. I want to find some news about it. I don't know if I can play this. I don't know. I know major outlets talking about it.
What you guys are looking at is a live broadcast going on right now. I'm going to leave a link in the description.
Is this real?
Russian newspaper Moskovsky Komsomolets reports that a 20-ton segment of a large Russian rocket is falling out of control after its third stage failed to fire a second time. The rocket failure happened a few minutes after Russia's third test flight of its large heavy-lift rocket, the Angara A-5, started without a hitch. The huge rocket was loaded with a dummy payload that simulated the weight balance of a satellite. The first two stages had pushed the rocket into near-Earth orbit.
Yeah,
and
right,
the third
Special.
stage had fired once successfully.
That's a
when it
Devo
was supposed
song.
to fire a second time to push itself and the payload to a graveyard orbit reserved for parking dead boosters. However, the Persei booster failed to fire correctly, leaving the booster and payload stranded in low Earth.
Not news. Okay, I'll take this tracker down. Yeah, this is space trash. This is why I say don't throw our tax dollars into fucking space, because it just turns into trash and sits up there. Oh. What? What is this? 1 million views? Game cam captures the unimaginable. What fucking happens? The fuck is this? What is this supposed to be? Yeah, clicking on that Russian shit just took me to some weird homestead bunker people news. Who's looking into bunker news? Who's sending me down bunker news rabbit holes? I worry about you. Don't bury your head in the sand. Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr. were subpoenaed.
The New York Attorney General, we've learned, has subpoenaed Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump as part of the fraud probe looking into whether executives in the Trump organization manipulated property values. New York AG Letitia James, you may recall.
No, you probably need to get a COVID test, Special. I'm a little worried it might be COVID with chest pains. That's a specific symptom of this new strain. And everybody's getting this new strain. Erica has it. John B. has it. We can get you they have the fairly inaccurate home tests now. We got to get you COVID tested, I think. I think you might see if there's a,
Also seeking testimony from Donald Trump himself. The deadline for that subpoena for the former president is Friday. I want to go straight to CNN's Kara Scannell and CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Ellie Holding. Kara, you've been following all the ins and outs of these investigations. So what's new today?
Well, so we just learned today through a court filing that the New York Attorney General Letitia James has subpoenaed,
No, I have no clue what you're talking about,
testimony
Chrissy.
and for documents Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump. Now, this is part of her civil investigation looking into whether the Trump organization and any of its executives had manipulated the value of its condos, its office buildings, its golf courses, and other properties. Now, as you said, that Letitia James's office had previously subpoenaed former President Donald Trump for his testimony. Now, Trump's attorneys have said that they will file a motion to quash that subpoena. In this court filing today, we learned that the children of Donald Trump, Ivanka and Don Jr., are also likely to fight this. And, you know, Ivanka Trump, before she went into the administration, was a top executive at the company. Donald Trump Jr. is still one of the top executives. Now, James's office had previously deposed Eric Trump. He is also one of the top executives at this company, but that came before James joined a criminal investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. That is something that Trump's lawyers are likely to focus on in their arguments of why these depositions should not take place. They have already sued James's office, saying that she is biased and trying to get a judge to stop her investigation. Erica?
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these
But she is
subpoenas.
biased,
Ellie, as you're looking at this,
learning about these subpoenas now. Does this tell you anything about where they are in the investigation? Anything we should read into that?
Well, Erica, it tells me that Letitia James, the Attorney General, is intensifying the focus and broadening the scope of her civil investigation. And it's really important that people understand there are two separate tracks here. On the one hand, there's a civil investigation of these fraud allegations that Kara just laid out. And then separately, there's a criminal investigation being run by the district attorney with Letitia James as well, looking at potential criminal violations, and there's important differences there. One, it's way harder to prove a criminal case. The burden of proof in a criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt. In a civil case, it's just a preponderance, which means basically 50.01%. And two, of course, the penalties are very different. Criminal cases, people can go to jail. Civil cases, we're just talking about monetary penalties. So two different tracks. This is on the civil side.
And when you look at these subpoenas, again, on the civil side, as you point out, based on what we've seen from other members of the Trump family, what we're waiting to hear from the former president, what do you anticipate will happen with these subpoenas?
So there are three really potential approaches or responses to a subpoena like this. One is you can comply and testify. People often do that. Two is a person in this position can take the Fifth Amendment. Even though we are in the civil context, any person who believes that their testimony or statement might be used against them in some future criminal proceeding, and we know that there is a criminal investigation, has the right to...
Okay, so they're moving forward with this shit.
Ranging from an
This is from 39 minutes ago.
pandemic
This is about the same January 6th shit. Merrick Garland gives update on January 6th Capitol riot investigation.
unprecedented attack
Oh, what we got here?
on our democracy. Thank you for your
Boys
service,
text channel.
for your sacrifice,
Pull this up.
and for your dedication. I am honored to serve alongside you.
Ah.
And
Oh yeah,
second,
no, we
as
talked about
begin
the
a new
James
year,
Webb
and as we
Space
prepare to
Telescope.
mark a solemn anniversary tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is a fitting time to reaffirm that we at the Department of Justice will do everything in our power to defend the American people.
James and I, Full Metal, we talked about it a couple episodes ago about the James Webb Telescope. Very excited to see, you know, what comes of it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Christy. I'm basically a doctor. Eric is a nurse.
Eligible citizen to cast a vote that counts. And we will do all of this in a manner that adheres to the rule of law and honors our obligation to protect the civil rights and civil liberties of everyone in this country. Tomorrow will mark the first anniversary of January 6, 2021, the day the United States Capitol was attacked while lawmakers met to affirm the results of a presidential election. In the early afternoon of January 6th, as the United States Senate and House of Representatives were meeting to certify the vote count of the Electoral College, a large crowd gathered outside the Capitol building. Shortly after 2 p.m., individuals in the crowd began to force entry into the Capitol by smashing windows and assaulting U.S. Capitol Police, who were stationed there to protect the members of Congress as they took part in one of the most solemn proceedings of our democracy. Others in the crowd encouraged and assisted those who attacked the police. Over the course of several hours, outnumbered law enforcement officers sustained a barrage of repeated violent attacks. About 80 Capitol Police and 60 D.C. Metropolitan Police were assaulted. As our own court filings and thousands of public
I mean,
videos of
Jameson,
the
it sounds like he has the symptoms you just said you had when you had
perpetrators punched
Omicron.
Dozens of law enforcement officers.
It's a very contradictory
knocking
statement.
Some officers unconscious.
What do you fucking mean? It sounds like he does
Some
have it.
perpetrators tackled and dragged law enforcement officers.
By your
Among
own
the many
words.
examples of such violence, one officer was crushed in the
fuck?
door.
Talking
Another
about-
was dragged down a set of stairs, face down, repeatedly tased and beaten, and suffered a heart attack. Some perpetrators attacked law enforcement officers with chemical agents that burn their eyes and skin, and some assaulted officers with pipes, poles, and other dangerous or deadly weapons. Perpetrators also targeted, assaulted, tackled, and harassed journalists and destroyed their equipment. With increasing numbers of individuals having breached the Capitol,
Oh no, his
members of
oxygen
the
was right
Senate
there
and the House
too. I'm
of
pretty sure the
Representatives,
99. Like,
including the President of the Senate, Vice President Mike Pence, had to be evacuated.
it's like mild chest pains and symptoms, just like you're
Proceedings in both
describing,
chambers
Jameson.
were disrupted for hours, interfering with a fundamental element of American democracy, the peaceful transfer of power from one administration to the next. Those involved must be held accountable, and there is no higher priority for us at the Department of Justice. It is impossible to overstate the heroism of the Capitol Police officers, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department officers, and other law enforcement officers who defended and secured the Capitol that day. They demonstrated to all of us and to our country what true courage looks like. Their resolve, their sacrifice, and their bravery protected thousands of people.
No, didn't you say
inside the
95? He said
Capitol
his stayed pretty high too, between 91 and 95.
5 officers who responded selflessly.
That's what I'm
to
saying.
the
Jameson
attack on
stayed high
January
too.
6th have since lost their lives. I ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence in recognition of the service and sacrifice of Officer Brian Sicknick,
Not necessarily
Officer
special.
Howard
Depends on where you
Rubenberg,
went too.
Officer Jeffrey Smith, Officer Gunther Hashida, and Officer Kyle DeFreitag.
It depends on what infrastructure you went to and what you signed. You might not be able to sue them special.
I know I speak for all of us in saying that
But it's
tomorrow,
happened.
and in our work
They've
in the
not
days
tested
ahead,
people because
we will
it's
not
they're assuming
only
people are just
remember
getting
them,
tested on their own.
we will do everything we can to honor them. In the aftermath of the attack, the Justice Department began its work on what has become one of the largest, most complex,
Yeah, I don't know. I've had my
and most
blood oxygen dip down
resource-intensive
into the 30s
investigations
and
in
shit.
our
Like I almost
history.
died before, so I don't know when I
Only
did
a
that.
small number of perpetrators were arrested in the tumult
Yeah, I
of
think the
January 6th
university would
itself.
just refer you to a
Every
COVID
day
testing
since,
facility.
we have worked to identify, investigate,
Yeah.
and apprehend defendants from across the country. And we have done so at record speed and
Probably hit a
scale
COVID test
in
up,
the
brother.
midst of a pandemic during which some grand juries and courtrooms were not
And just
able
get that
to
jab,
operate.
so we can go to
Led by
concerts.
the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District
I'm gonna start going
of
to
Columbia
concerts.
and the
I guess
FBI's
alone.
Washington Field Office, DOJ personnel across the department.
With Lux,
in
but she gonna be
nearly all
working.
56 field offices, in nearly all 94 United
Oh,
States
nothing.
Attorney's offices, and in many main justice components, have worked countless hours to investigate the attack. Approximately 70 prosecutors from the District of Columbia and another 70 from other U.S. Attorney's offices and DOJ divisions have participated in this
Yeah.
investigation.
I'm talking about special.
So far,
They might still
we have
even refer
issued
you to a
over
fucking
5,000
COVID testing place or just
subpoenas and
ask you if
search
you've
warrants,
tested recently.
seized
Or it might even
approximately
skim over asking you if you've
2,000
tested
devices,
recently.
poured through over
I know when I went in for my
20,000 hours of video footage.
when I went in for all of my kidney stuff, even with my primary, like they didn't ask me once at Mercy, so didn't ask me, didn't bring up COVID. I went in for a whole operation, so there's some kind of disconnect between testing people and actually you're, getting cared for like that. It's kind of primary care stuff. So if you don't have like a primary care that's like gotten you tested or referred you to testing, and they're just gonna assume you have, I don't know.
Footage and searched through an estimated 15 terabytes.
Oh, like I said yesterday, Graph, I got vaccinated not because I think it's gonna prevent me from getting COVID. I might still get COVID, but I can go do stuff now. So I'm gonna go see cool concerts and shit. Yeah.
Of data. We have received over 300,000 tips
I
from
don't
ordinary
live in anxiety
citizens
and fear like that.
who have been our indispensable partners in this effort. The FBI's website continues to post photos of persons.
I choose not to, and
in
look,
connection
I'm
with the
still
events
here.
of January 6th, and we continue to seek the public's assistance in identifying those individuals. As of today, we have arrested and charged more than 725 defendants in nearly all 50 states and the District of Columbia for their roles in the January 6th.
But just keep in mind, even the medical infrastructure I brag about, like my stuff back in Arkansas, medical infrastructure is great there. Like people travel to that state for the medical care sometimes, and I really liked my doctor and the doctor I ended up with there. But they didn't even test me for COVID or ask me about COVID or bring it up, come to think of it, when I went in for my kidney stone removals. My kidney stone removal, so I don't know.
Attack. In charging the perpetrators, we have followed well-worn prosecutorial practices. Those who assaulted officers or damaged the Capitol face greater charges. Those who conspired with others to obstruct the vote count also face greater charges. Those who did not undertake such conduct have been charged with lesser offenses, particularly if they accepted their responsibility early and cooperated with the investigation. In the first months of the investigation, approximately 145 defendants pled guilty to misdemeanors, mostly defendants who did not cause injury or damage. Such pleas reflect the facts of those cases and the defendant's acceptance of responsibility, and they help conserve both judicial and prosecutorial resources so that attention can properly focus on the more serious perpetrators. In complex cases, initial charges are often less severe than later charged offenses. This is purposeful, as investigators methodically collect and sift through more evidence. By now, though, we have charged over 325 defendants with...
It's insane the way it's like, it's crazy the way it's fucking going. Like, crazy. Like, Erica caught it, John B caught it. No, it's, these variants are out there like crazy. And again, like, yeah, if you have symptoms, particularly like special guests is experiencing, go get tested. Go get tested.
Felonies, many for assaulting officers.
Go get that test.
And many for corruptly obstructing or attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. 20 defendants charged with felonies have already pled guilty. Approximately 40 defendants have been charged with conspiracy to obstruct a congressional proceeding and or to obstruct law enforcement. In the months ahead, 17 defendants are already scheduled to go to trial for their role in felony conspiracies. A necessary consequence to the prosecutorial approach of charging less serious offenses first is that courts impose shorter sentences before they impose longer ones. In recent weeks, however, as judges have sentenced the first defendants convicted of assaults and related violent conduct against officers, we have seen significant sentences that reflect the seriousness of those offenses, both in terms of the injuries they caused and the serious risk they posed to our democratic institutions. The actions we have taken thus far will not be our last. The Justice Department remains committed to...
No, it is hard to believe. No, I am at the point though with it where it's like, go get the fucking vaccine. I don't think I know anybody that I want to go party with that is more sick than I am and has more chronic issues than I do. And I got the vaccine and I lived. I don't think I know anybody. Like, I want to go party with people. I want to go see cool concerts, and we can go do that. We can go do that. Get the fucking jab, or I'm gonna call everyone a pussy in my life. If you don't have the jab and I can't go party with you.
January 6 perpetrators
If I can't hang out with you,
at any level,
I'm mad about it. If
accountable
I can't go to
under
a
law,
concert,
whether they were present
a
that day
concert that Lux
or
is hooking it up
otherwise
with,
criminally responsible for the assault on
pussy
our
shit.
democracy.
Vaccine,
We will follow
get it,
the facts wherever
or horde
they
rapid
lead.
tests, or horde rapid tests.
Because January 6 was an unprecedented
I'm not
attack
saying
on the
don't
seat
hoard
of our
rapid tests.
democracy, we
Testing, or
understand that there's
vaccine,
broad
or
public
this
interest
shit ain't going
in our
anywhere. It's bio-warfare. Yeah, I think
We
it's bio-warfare.
understand that there are-
I genuinely think that's the truth behind it, by the way. I think that it's an attempt to destroy our nation and to kind of make nations more dependent on a communist or socialist infrastructure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why I also say, like, if you don't want to get vaccinated, hoard rapid tests. Go buy a bunch of rapid tests and hoard them shits. They're going to change and they're going to commodify them, but if you want to play that game instead of get the vax, do it. You can play that game. I feel like it's a losing game. Like you're not going to win that game, but do it.
Questions about how long the investigation will take.
It's still an option.
And about
It's
what
still an option.
exactly we are doing. Our answer is.
My money's against you, but it's still an option.
The same answer we would give with respect to any ongoing investigation. As long as it takes. And
The rapid test option's kind of like
justice to
that's
be
why I
done.
chose the vax. Like I felt like I was looking at a three-legged horse at the Kentucky Derby, and I'm like, what made it to the Kentucky Derby?
I understand that this may
But
not
fuck
be
the rapid
answer
test.
some are looking for, but we will and we must speak through our work.
I'll flash my vaccine card
Anything
and
else
bounce
jeopardizes
through
the
lines. And know
viability
that,
of our
yeah.
investigations and the civil liberties of our citizens. Everyone in this room and on these screens is familiar with the way we conduct investigations, and particularly complex investigations. We build investigations by laying the
I forgot
foundation.
that I found this out while I was at work.
Oh,
Game Grumps were at my venue.
they were at your venue in the past. Are they gonna come back?
Like before COVID.
Can
I
you
don't
book
know.
the Grumps again?
I would love to.
Hey, the Coheed show's announced though, right?
Huh?
Coheed's announced, right? Okay, I can talk about the Coheed and Cambria show. There's a Coheed and Cambria show happening. I'm pumped. I'm going. I'll be vaxxed by the time it happens too, so I'm gonna go with no trouble. No hassle, no rapid test bullshit. I'm gonna go see.
You were talking about shows, and it just reminded me that they told me that today.
No, well, I'm excited about it. Like you work at one of the coolest venues in the fucking state, and I'm gonna go see cool shit. I'm gonna go see cool shit. I'll if I gotta shoot smack to go see the cool shit, I'll do that. If I gotta eat a bunch of dog shit to go see that cool shit, I'll do that. I've done way crazier. I put way crazier things in my body for the sake of being at or going to a concert than the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Like I've turned my body into a chemical dump multiple times at music festivals. I'll take the vaccine. I'll take a needle to go to a concert. Fuck it. Like fuck it. What are people's priorities right now?
Crimes.
Are you gonna catch it anyway? Fuck it then. Fuck it then. Go do stuff.
Actors
You know?
and the evidence they provide can lead
Can we
us to
sue
others
China?
who may
No,
also
Sean.
have been involved.
We can't.
And that evidence can serve as the foundation for further investigative leads and techniques. In circumstances like those of January 6th, a full accounting does not suddenly materialize. To ensure that all those criminally responsible are held accountable, we must collect the evidence.
Yeah, it sucks we have to make a choice on being able to go out, but I blame China. I'm not gonna live in fear about it. I'm not gonna freak the fuck out all the time. The world's gonna shut down again. I'm gonna get my vaccine card and do everything I can to breeze through lines and keep living. Whatever hoop they fucking put up, I'll jump it and build something better on the other side of it. So, you know.
We follow the physical evidence. We follow the digital evidence. We follow the money.
Just no, says Jameson. Yeah, you can't sue
Follow
China.
the facts. Not an agenda or an assumption.
Do they have any
The
U.S.-based
facts
pharmaceutical
tell us where to go
corporations even?
Over 40 years ago, in the wake of the Watergate scandal,
Do you guys remember my conspiracy? Fuck Disney. Maybe Disney's responsible for COVID. You know? Maybe it's the mouse ears. You know? Disney has a bunch of Chinese manufacturing. Do they make anything for, do they make any Disney toys or makeups or anything in Wuhan? Who knows? I don't know anything. I didn't look into my conspiracy at all. I just kind of put it out there dangerously. But what if Disney did it? To give them more time to make Marvel movies or some shit. I don't know.
the Justice Department concluded that the best way to ensure the
No,
department's
Sean.
independence,
No.
integrity, and fair application of our laws.
I like Chinese
and
people,
therefore the
by the
best
way.
to ensure the health of our democracy.
My chat does not
is to
represent
have
me.
a set of norms to govern our work. The central norm is that in our criminal investigations, there cannot be different rules depending on one's
Can we violence? Sean, Danny, old fuckers, stop. Stop saying that kind of shit.
political party or affiliation. There cannot be different rules for friends and foes, and there cannot be different rules for the powerful and the powerless. There is only one rule. We follow the facts and enforce the law in a way that respects the Constitution and protects civil liberties. We conduct every investigation guided by the same norms, and we adhere to those norms.
Yeah, China's
even
at
when,
fault.
and especially when, the circumstances we face are not normal.
Yeah, let's
Adhering to
maybe
the-
genuinely insult China and not fall back on why don't we just bomb them, Sean? Fucking
The department's long
my chat doesn't represent me.
essential to our work in defending
YouTube
our
algorithm,
democracy,
I promise.
particularly at a time
I don't
when
know
we
some
are
of these old
confronting
fucks.
a rise in violence and unlawful threats of violence in our shared public spaces directed at those who serve the public.
TOS, follow
We
it.
have all seen that Americans who serve and interact with the public at every level, many of whom make our democracy work every day, have been unlawfully targeted with threats of violence and actual violence. Across the country, election officials and election workers.
They just hopped in my car at the
airline
Burger King,
flight
dude. I know
crews,
them.
School personnel, journalists.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
Local elected officials.
Hell yeah.
U.S. senators and representatives, and judges, prosecutors, and police officers have been threatened and or attacked.
All right, dude's still ranting about Jan 6th. It is time for a quick break. I gotta refill my tea, take a pee, and come right back. You guys keep it greasy, I guess. I don't know why greasy, but keep it there, keep it greasy. But fuck, I said greasy. Maybe if it's warmed up. Maybe you've talked me into it if it's warmed up. If it warmed up outside, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, the sun was warm. It's, 64. That's pretty good.
No. I mean, maybe if old fuckers would buy an old fucker merch shirt, but y'all cost this channel an awful lot of fucking money. So, no. Where the boomers devalue your content. Happens more than I like to admit. But no.
These are our fellow citizens who administer our elections, ensure our safe travel, teach our children, report the news, represent their constituents, and keep our communities safe. Some have been told that their offices would be bombed. Some have been told that they would murdered.
Some were told that they would get murdered. Oh snap. Hold up. It's that town. It's that town. It's that town. It's time for the radio soundboard. Get that shit crack-a-lackin'. Where's my soundboard? I need it. I want it. I miss it. But, yeah. Log me in. There we go. It's that time. We're done with the news for the day. We just chatting. If anybody has a story they want me to pull up or a rabbit hole to go down on YouTube, I'm down now. I'm going to be as grumpy as I was during the daily news. But yesterday I watched 30 minutes of like some shit I should have checked the timestamp on before anyway, because I try to, you know. Oh, and I love you, Sean. When I talk shit, it's just because I care enough to love. It's because I care enough to love. And the channel's my pie. You know, you fucking with my money, it's like fucking with my emotions. I keep it real about that every fucking time. She's looking at me. She knows I'm going big perm about it. Yeah. She knows I'm going big perm about it.
What's up, big perm?
Is that big? What's up, big perm? Big worm? Oops. Again, like I've said multiple times, I love the boomer demographic, but boy, I see why y'all's channels get fucking canceled. Y'all can't follow TOS to save your life. Yeah, no, yeah, it's, yeah. Prince Andrew, thank you, Debbie. Let's check out Prince Andrew. She put a couple things in the VC chat. Let me get it pulled up from Discord, Debbie. Thank you again so much for doing that. Mass protest in Kazakhstan. That was from yesterday. Oh, it's not in the V. Is it in the good news? It's in some news. Ugly news, bad news. General news. This account's kind of far back in the news reporting. Yo, I'm pulling this up though. This is from Lux. Yo.
What?
Body cam video shows Houston cops speeding, driving with one hand before hitting and killing pedestrian with patrol car.
Yeah.
Dude was smoking cigarettes and eating donuts and not paying a goddamn bit of attention.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a lot.
Let me just pop through here though. I'm looking for some of this Prince Andrew stuff from the homie Debbie. From our day one. Our real day one. From our day one. I didn't hear what happened with the Maxwell jury. I know that she's found guilty on 4 out of 11, but did something new happen, Jameson? Holy shit. Fill me in! Nancy Pelosi accused of hiding information in her role in security. Oh. Nancy Pelosi caught doing some dirty shit. We'll check that out here in just a second too. Again, I'm not giving up. We'll find it. Where'd you put that shit, Debbie? In Maxwell chat, that makes sense. That makes sense. Debbie, thank you. You know, male lions are seemingly useless to the animal kingdom. They have no navigational sense. They don't hunt. They barely take care of the kids. And, you know. Oh, here we go. Wait. Check the dates and make sure I'm not pulling up some old stuff that you posted. Oh, here we go. From Channel 4. Yo, shout out BBC. I like BBC programming. What we got here? Oh, I'm gonna change that account. There we go. Gosh, his face is so doofy sometimes. Oh, snap. Jameson, does that mean it has to go back? Or is it a mistrial? What the fuck just happened with Ghislaine then? Oh, no.
Well, Matt, this is Prince Andrew's latest attempt to have the case against him by Virginia Giuffre.
Why'd it go to light mode?
Dismissed. Remember, his lawyers first said that he hadn't been properly served with those court papers. Then they said the case shouldn't go ahead because Virginia Giuffre no longer resides permanently here in the United States. Well, today they are trying to use the wording of a settlement agreed in 2009 between Miss Giuffre and Jeffrey Epstein that released all other potential defendants. They're trying to use that as grounds to have the case thrown out altogether. We haven't yet had a decision from the judge, but remember, this is a civil case. So if it does go to trial, it could result in financial damages, but it will not result in a prison sentence. Here is how the day panned out.
The photo that continues to haunt Prince Andrew, the royal with his arm around a young girl, Virginia Giuffre, in the London home of Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman standing behind them, now, as of last week, a convicted sex trafficker. Miss Giuffre, remember, has accused Maxwell of doing exactly that, colluding with her then partner, Jeffrey Epstein, to traffic her for sex with the prince. And the prince, she claims in her civil case against him, abused her there and on 2 other separate occasions in 2001.
I don't remember that photograph.
Wild.
In a now infamous interview, Prince Andrew implies the photo may have been fabricated and denies all the allegations against him.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Today, the prince's lawyers used a newly unsealed settlement agreement from a civil case between Virginia Giuffre and Jeffrey Epstein to attempt to get her case against Prince Andrew thrown out altogether.
So what's the significance of this unsealed document? Will it help Prince Andrew?
From Prince Andrew's perspective, this could not be a broader release. It releases all potential defendants, and this is an exact quote, from the beginning of the world to the signing of this agreement, which was in 2009. Prince Andrew's lawyers could not wish for more expansive language. Now, from Virginia Giuffre's perspective, this was an agreement that was signed in Florida. It was not signed in New York. They say that Prince Andrew was not aware of it. He's not a party to it. He's not mentioned in it.
But time and time again, including here in 2019, Virginia Giuffre has insisted she was sexually abused by the royal.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it. Thank you.
He says that was a faked photo.
Today, Prince Andrew's lawyers insisted
He says it was
that
a
the
fake
settlement
photo of
should
Prince Andrew.
Release the prince, since he
More
was
bullshit.
clearly another potential defendant as defined by the agreement. He also said that Miss Giuffre hadn't given any specific details as to her allegations against the royal. But the judge insisted the settlement should be open to interpretation and said her allegation of voluntary sexual intercourse spoke for itself.
The prince's lawyers also argued that since Miss Giuffre's original case against
He says it was a fake.
specifically mentioned being sexually exploited by royalty, politicians and others, then her settlement in that case must release Andrew, a royal, from any subsequent claims. The judge didn't rule at the end of today's hearing, but if he decides against the argument to dismiss the case, then the trial of Prince Andrew
I got that loaded up,
versus
Jameson.
Virginia
Thank you for the
Giuffre
link, brother.
is set to begin later in the year.
Yeah, it is real as fuck, Debbie. Yeah, Prince Andrew, I think, still tries to say it's not real. It's not real, but it is real.
Fair enough to say, I think,
He's
that
guilty,
the
in my
judge
opinion.
Questioned Prince Andrew's lawyers very robustly. At one point, when the lawyer accused Miss Giuffre of not giving enough detail about her allegations, I'd like even a date, a month. I'd even settle for a year, the lawyer said. The judge quipped quite sharply back at him. That is not a dog that's going to hunt here, he said. In other words, there'll be plenty of time to explore the allegations during the discovery phase of the trial. And crucially, he did not put a stop to the ongoing discovery phase of the trial while he makes his decision on the hearing today. He simply said that he would reach that decision pretty soon, but he did not give a time frame.
Siobhan Kennedy, thanks very much.
Damn. All right. Check this out. It's from the New York Post. Maxwell prosecutors want inquiry after juror claims sex abuse past swayed panel. Prosecutors in the Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking case asked a judge Wednesday to conduct an inquiry in light of revelations that a juror used his sexual abuse past to sway deliberations. In a new letter, the 4 federal prosecutors who tried the case requested that Judge Allison Nathan take the extra measures in light of the interviews. Oh. In quotes, the government believes the court should conduct an inquiry. The government proposes that the court schedule a hearing in approximately 1 month, along with an appropriate schedule for pre-hearing briefing regarding the applicable law and the scope of the hearing, they wrote. They added that if Nathan does decide to hold a hearing, she should inform the juror and ask him if he would like legal counsel appointed for it. It was a male. That was surprising to me, that it's a male. The juror, identified by his first and middle names, Scotty David, told British newspaper The Independent that he raised his past sexual abuse during jury deliberations as the panel discussed whether to convict Maxwell. I know what happened when I was sexually abused. I remember the color of the carpet, the walls. Some of it can be replayed like a video, he told the newspaper, but I can't remember all the details. There are some things that run together. He added in an interview with Reuters that him sharing his experience helped convince other panelists to convict Maxwell. When I shared that they were able to sort of come around. They were able to come around on the memory aspect of the sexual abuse, he told the news agency. During jury selection, some 230 prospective jurors were given questionnaires, which included a question on whether they or anyone in their families had been the victim of sexual abuse. David told Reuters that he flew through the questionnaire and cannot remember being asked about personal experiences with sexual abuse. He could only say he would have answered honestly. Maxwell was convicted on 5 of 6 counts against her after a month-long trial in Manhattan federal court. She faced up to 65 years in prison at her sentencing. Anybody think she'll get 65 years of sentencing? You think they'll manage to catch a hearing and get a new jury? Be crazy. Yeah, I don't know if she'll ever give up names. I feel like she probably won't. They're gonna have to really do something to her. Nancy Pelosi has been accused of hiding info on her role in security breakdown on January 6th. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is concealing information about her culpability in the security breakdown during January 6th riot, according to Republican lawmakers who have been pursuing those documents since immediately after the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now, if Nancy Pelosi stonewalled security and was part of the force that allowed that riot to happen, that just, in my opinion, feeds my theory that Trump did that shit on purpose. Trump did that shit to get the right, because he's a crypto liberal, right? So he would have Nancy Pelosi secretly on his side, help him make it a shit show, stoking the flames. So I kind of see this. I thank you, Umbra, in the Discord for sending this in. In the immediate aftermath of January 6th, Republicans began an examination of the Capitol's security vulnerabilities. On January 13th, 2021, as the ranking Republican member of the House Administration Committee, I sent letters to the acting House Sergeant-at-Arms, the House Chief Administrative Officer, and the active Chief of the U.S. Capitol Police, USCP, asking them to preserve all records relating to January 6th, Mr. Davis wrote. So that's from Mr. Davis. Although the USCP immediately complied with my request to preserve and produce relevant documents, the House Sergeant-at-Arms and Chief Administrative Officer, the 2 House officers who reportedly directed to you, responded jointly that they were unable to comply with that request at this time. Now, nearly a year after this request, the House Sergeant-at-Arms and Chief Administrative Officer have yet to comply with my request. pretty telling right there. So it sounds to me like Pelosi probably stonewalled some shit again. I'm telling you guys, there's something going on with Jan 6. Trump, people got tricked by Trump, dude. You working for that team, I'm telling you. The sad news was the body cam video shows Houston cops speeding, driving with one hand before hitting and killing pedestrian with a patrol car. This is really unfortunate. Clips from the video. Here's the source. Driving with one hand. One hand.
All right, currently actor sounds good. We're looking. Stop now! I got one face. Stop right there. Right face, man. They're going westbound towards Scott. Westbound towards Scott. Westbound towards Scott. So say goodbye. Shit! Fuck! Fuck! Yeah, fuck! We're gonna be going north.
Whoa.
Sir! Cindy?
Oh, that wasn't weird to me, Jameson. You could find out where her office was from any alt-right. Like, no, her locations had been doxxed from the moment she was elected, Jameson. So it doesn't surprise me at all that that crowd found AOC's office during the January 6th riot, by the way. Like, that's why, is because she had been targeted from the moment she was elected.
Right, but on top of that, Marjorie Taylor Greene had filmed multiple times in front of her door, trying to pull the fuck out of her for a while.
That's true. Marjorie Taylor Greene was filming from outside of her office trying to harass AOC. That's true. That's I always forget about that.
Yeah.
That's true.
That woman is vile.
Yeah.
Like a fucking teenager.
Vile. Yeah. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. She's the worst. Let's look. What's trending today? Apex Legends and shit again. Bunch of nonsense. Bad time for true crime on YouTube. Bad time for news on YouTube. That's how I found the gang breakups that we started the show with. Again, we got a new official in New York, and we're already rounding up overnight gang members fast as hell. I mean, not when you've studied it thoroughly. Like, not Jameson. I mean, not when you've gone on tours of the bitch or something too. Like, I don't know. Yes and no, dude. Chicago public schools have canceled classes.
Let's bring in Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Hospital and ABC News.
Guys, I am genuinely shocked at the spread of this Omicron stuff.
On all of this, and I'm also getting word, your neck of the woods, Boston, dealing with the same type of closures, yes?
Yes, it's a real challenge. There's a huge amount of pressure on our school systems because of the amount of Omicron that's circulating.
So what do you think then, as we hear about the classes being canceled in a number now of public schools, Chicago, Boston, etc. Do you think it's safe for schools to even be open at this point? Is this a good move? And then, do we even have the resources to do online learning? Well, it just seems like we're going backwards.
I agree with you, Kira. We're going backwards, and I really don't think we need to. This far into the pandemic, we have the tools necessary to keep our kids in person, to avoid unnecessary quarantines and closures. I mean, testing, yes, has been a challenge, but there is the opportunity to implement testing to make sure that most kids can be in while those who have been, exposed or isolating, and essentially use the other tools that we have. I mean, we have not vaccinated enough of our kids. We can use masking, better ventilation, hand washing. Altogether, these are important layers of interventions that can keep our schools schools open. Omicron is more transmissible, but of course we know it's not as lethal. We know what we need to do to keep transmission down in schools and keep our kids in person. We know how important it is to have our kids in schools. I just can't believe that we're going backwards right now.
Yeah, as a parent, it's really frustrating for us as well.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about boosters for 12 to 15-year-olds. Could be as available as early as Thursday.
Yeah.
How critical do you think that will be for schools that are fighting these COVID surges right now?
Well, I have a 12-year-old, so I'm excited to get him boosted. And, the safety data from Israel looks really promising and safe. And I think we'll make...
Let's just type in trending true crime. Let's see if that's even allowed right now. Who's even doing that right now? Who still does the stuff like we were doing 2 years ago, 7 days ago? Yeah. Shit's looking a little rough. I've been digging true crime recaps. Shout out true crime recaps. From Oxygen, yeah, that's probably copywritten. Wild. Man, I've been on the rabbit hole train lately. I'm still a little shook on the Juan Carlos nonsense. Yeah. Let's see. Let's just do last hour. If I just type in True Crime News. From True Crime Daily. Whoa. That's extra.
Marla, this is looking like a 6-car pileup, and somebody has lost their life in this accident. It is really horrific to look at. This is the mangled mess. It is a FedEx truck and about 5 other vehicles here on South and Bloomfield here in Cerritos. Now, taking a look from Skyfox, Stu and Justin up there in Skyfox, giving you a look from the air. It is just horrendous. We don't exactly know what happened from police, but what we're hearing right now, Marla, is that somebody was driving in between 2 lanes, crashed into the FedEx truck right at this intersection, which then, of course, crashed into the other vehicles. Now, the person that was in that black car, you can't even tell what kind of car it was. That's the person who lost their life. A lot of people just showing up at the scene trying to figure out if their loved ones were involved. It's just really an awful situation. They do have part of Bloomfield shut down. You've got to go all the way around to about 183rd to get here. Police are expecting to give us some more information in just a little bit and kind of tell us how all this happened. But unfortunately, again, somebody lost their life, and it is at least 6 cars, including that FedEx truck, involved. As soon as we get any new information, we will bring it to you. But for now, reporting live, I'm Haley Winslow. Marla, back to you.
And emergency crews from that live shot right there, have they come and gone, or they must still be there?
There are emergency crews. There's a lot of police officers here at the scene trying to piece this all together. They, of course, tried to save the person who was involved who lost their life. It doesn't, from what I understand, it doesn't seem to be any...
Search for a missing Cal State Long Beach student has sadly turned into a recovery mission tonight.
21-year-old Hunter Lewis vanished last week off the coast of Humboldt County during a canoe trip. Christina Gonzalez reports from Long Beach.
Kid went missing during a canoe trip.
Trinidad Bay in Humboldt County, where 21-year-old Hunter Lewis, a junior at
You know, Humboldt County is some of the most beautiful hiking you'll ever experience. That's some of the most beautiful country I've ever been in. It feels primordial. It feels ancient in places.
Long Beach, studying aerospace engineering, had been setting up an elaborate scavenger treasure hunt for friends and family.
I see why they shot like indoor up there and stuff.
Cipher, Cartesian mathematics. It was very elaborate. There was one clue that a person had to rappel down a cliff to find.
Over 100 people followed the lost Lewis treasure.
It's already destroying us, Sean. It's already shutting the country. I mean, it's Already happened once. They'll shut us down. It'll shut down again and require vaccines, things like that. It's, you know, it'll probably happen. I mean, look, it's been humans will keep going. That's the important thing.
Instagram page. When he did not return from setting up the clues, the Coast Guard started a search. While friends and family set out to solve the clues Hunter had already set up, which led them to the rocky ocean outcropping where the last one was supposed to go. And that's where they found pieces of the young man's canoe.
He hit that reef and it capsized him. And that fits with the debris field that we found of his boat and other items.
Including the box score he gave his
Oh, I got you, Anthony, on that. We had a bit of a shipping backup. It should be on its way, bud.
son when Hunter finished his first scavenger hunt as a boy.
I'll shoot you the proper verification, like the tracking number and stuff, once it's out for realsies. And for some reason, when I bulk ordered it, sent half of them, and then the other half, it said no. That's how I feel, Jameson. I think stimulus checks. I think we need to focus on the effects of COVID on an economically first. I know it's been a bitch, but when this is kind of in the same realm of what we're talking about, supply chain issues. If we were to focus on COVID economically, we would have less supply chain issues. I could get more Merctus hoodies out. Because they were limited edition, but now they're just going to be up there for a while because I got more to get out. But, yeah. Hey, no problem, Anthony. Just so you know, I've been rushing them on my end. There's been a rush on my end. Like, this is last year's competition. This is last year's contest. They won a fucking drawing. It's in the shit. But yeah, supply chain issues, man. If we were to focus on this economically as opposed to politically charged, like people do on the street, I think it would be just a whole different world, you know? Sean, it's worth it. I do that. I'm actually in the middle of a big city, but being out in the desert, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing well enough to have a little shack out in the middle of the desert. Fuck, I'd take a trailer at this point. I don't give a shit. Go live out just in the desert. Mind my own. Right, Graph? They're stuck in the canal. I don't know where Champion's making shit, but it's just the Champion shit. I'm really interested to see if, because there's been 2 people who have ordered hoodies after me, and their shit's shown up before the rest of the one. So I don't know if I got to reorder, what it is. I'm still waiting on emails back. But stay tuned to the merch store. I might end up changing what I do there. I added a mask. So if anybody needs a COVID mask, we got a Merctus, Angel designed Merctus mask in the merch store. I think it's pretty dope. It has the pocket for a filter or a hanky or whatever you put in there to filter your airs. Burps, indigestion, baby. But yeah, the fuck is Flu-Rona? Flu and Corona are fucking.
Well, as if we don't already have our hands full.
If Corona and the flu both drank 4 Locos and got real buck wild at a demolition derby, 9 months later we get Flu-Rona. Flu-Rona.
With COVID, Delta, Omicron, there's a new condition that has entered the mix.
It is called Flu-Rona. It's when someone gets COVID and the flu. I can't deal with this. Ed Laskos live for us tonight in West LA. Ed, say it ain't so.
He just broke down. He's like, I can't deal with this. I can't do this shit. I quit over Flu-Rona. Call Merc Corporate, I'm out, Lux. Flu-Rona's a thing, I'm out. They found out Brian Laundrie's alive. I'm kidding. We're Brian Laundrie T-Channel now.
I wish I could.
I take this.
It is so, unfortunately, and doctors are concerned about it. So talk about pandemic burnout, huh? A new health threat now that we have to worry about. So think about it. If you catch COVID-19, unfortunately, your immune system's in a weakened state, so you are then a prime target, high risk to catch another infection, the flu.
The fuck? People with COVID are getting the flu at the same time? What happens if you have HPV, get COVID, and get the flu all at the same time? What do you call that? Flurona PV? Like the fucking hell, dude.
All at the very same time, and add to that all as we're right in the middle of this latest surge. Check this out. 911 calls already surging as the Omicron variant explodes through the Southland.
They're getting Delta and Omicron at the same time out there, Jameson? Are you fucking shitting me? Man. I'm excited for my booster shot. I'm excited for my booster shot. Oh, Anthony. Oh, Brian. Oh, yeah, he's dead. Anthony, was it you that asked earlier about the title? Yeah. Stay tuned for all of the show to find out more about Brian Laundrie. It's totally not clickbait. Lux can't see it, but I'm wiggling my eyebrows real hard. Real hard. If you're just listening, I'm wiggling my eyebrows very, very hard. As hard as I can. So maybe some of you have a faster BPM on eyebrow wiggle than I do, but
The surge striking at the worst
don't eyebrow wiggle BPM shame me.
possible time, winter.
They move as
and the
fast as they
start of our
move.
Flu season, bringing a new health threat called Flurona, being infected with COVID-19 and the flu, all at the very same time, with the very same symptoms, all attacking your respiratory system.
Oh, it's absolutely scary. It's terrifying. COVID, especially in an unvaccinated person, can feel absolutely terrible. And if you remember, influenza doesn't feel so good either.
The first confirmed case.
Flu does suck. You know, one of my symptoms is I just have moderate to severe flu-like symptoms all the time. It's just something I have to learn to live with. It's something that will happen to me no matter the medication I'm on, no matter the allergy preventative, no matter the whatever. I have these intermittent flu-like symptoms. And yeah, dude, having the flu sucks. Like every time I have one, I would catch a little fever or something, or have the joint pain or the aches. I'm like, man, fuck the flu, dude. It would suck if because most of the time I know it's gonna fade in a few hours to a day. I'm not gonna have to deal with the flu-like symptoms by the end of the week for sure. But the few times I've had the flu, boy, that shit sucks. Shit sucks.
So Flurona now detected in Israel, a woman in her 30s suffering the same symptoms from two separate infections, raising concerns here a twin epidemic could be on the way.
I'd like to point out that Israel is also the nation that's pushing the vaccine more than any other nation. They're on their like 4th booster or some shit, like, but they're also a place that's having Flurona show up. So I'm just saying, interesting commonality to notice and note. Anybody out here who tunes in and has been, honestly watching me as a guinea pig because I got the vaccine and I'm hella sick. Just a commonality to note.
Is absolutely.
I wonder if I'm more susceptible now to catch something else. Luckily, I wear a mask and wash myself a lot now.
Southern
So
California until around mid-January, so we're coming up on it really soon.
That as the explosive COVID surge has testing sites busy already, most with lines and wait times, a skyrocketing demand for testing that's even overwhelming ERs and urgent care centers, even before we're hit with a possible flu surge.
Already at Santa Monica Urgent Care, we're seeing 3-hour waits today. It's rough out there.
The LA City Fire Department facing a big increase in its 911 calls, now implementing its ambulance surge plan as LAFD tries to free up more ambulances as wait times are
Crazy.
growing longer for patients who need available beds.
We'll send an emergency medical supervisor to that hospital. They work with the hospital staff. They really determine what the underlying issue is, and then that way they're able to expedite the release of ambulances.
Doctors still insist COVID and flu vaccines, both of them, are the best protection protection now from Flurona and a possible twindemic that could hit this winter.
It's hard to predict what's going to happen. Look, we can't predict anything that happens with the coronavirus pandemic. What makes you think we can predict what's going to happen with the flu right now? We're living in crazy times.
That's reassuring to hear from a medical professional, but no truer words spoken. I think. Who can say what could happen? Again, I'm not saying getting the damn vaccine's gonna keep you from getting COVID. You might still get it, but you can come do shit with me. You can come see fucking Coheed. We can go watch Coheed in Cambria. We can go see Coheed. It's gonna be dope. You know, fine. Don't hopefully sneak into a meet and greet with me. Fine. Fine. Fine.
Doctor says now live, how crazy? Well, listen to this. Last year, remember, not much of a flu problem or outbreak around because of all the safety measures we were taking, so you would think that would be good, right? Not really. It turns out we might be more susceptible to catching the flu this year because our bodies did not have a chance.
I hope
to
it died
build
out in New York
immunity
State,
against the flu
Jameson.
last year because
Jeez.
it simply wasn't around with all the infections. The good doctor says middle of the month to the end of this month is when flu season really kicks into high gear here.
You know who
We'll
I'm
see
probably
what
never
happens.
gonna
Keep
play?
our
I see a
fingers
little
crossed.
suggested over here on the side. They're like, you want to watch Dr. Gupta? Nah, I ain't trying to watch Sanjay Gupta. Nah. I'm not Alex Jones's 4-year-old daughter or whatever the fuck Alex Jones was saying when he makes his 4-year-old have to turn off Sanjay Gupta. Like, what the fuck are you no 4-year-olds watching Dr. Sanjay, dude. The hell was Jones talking about? Speaking of, let's check on him. Let's check on our mans. Let's check on him. How you doing? Let's check on our mans. Is he just watching Tucker Carlson?
Big governments don't treat their citizens very well. Yes, that's a Reagan-era talking point. It's also true. The larger a bureaucracy becomes, the more impersonal it gets. Past a certain size, organizations of any kind lose their regard for people. As they get bigger, they get blunter, more soulless and cruel. The people in charge no longer care what you think. They don't have to worry about how their policies will affect you or your family. And that's the inevitable product of population growth. If you had 5 children, you would bathe them all in love and attention. If you had 5,000 children, you wouldn't know their names.
What?
So in case you're wondering why our leaders no
I
longer...
would remember every 5,000 of those names. Let's see, 15,000 names, because you got 5,000 children, they got 3 names apiece. Now, you're going to remember the last one for sure. So let's just say 10,000 names you got to remember because you got 5,000 kids. And that's like an average, right? Because they're going to have a first and a middle name. No, I got this. I can do 5,000. Hey, Lux, what's up? 5,000 kids?
No.
Oh, word. So I'll never have to worry about that.
seem especially interested in your health or happiness or prosperity. That's the reason. They don't have to be interested. Our population's too big. Why should your opinion matter? You're one of many.
5,000?
Previous generations of Americans didn't live in a country like
Oh, I'm a reptile, so like I'm a reptilian shapeshifter, so you're gonna lay a clutch of eggs. And then the strongest they eat each other, and the strongest get to be our children.
Isn't it?
That's how that's how Merc procreates. That's canon. It's canon. It's canon. Ooh, they got the IHU variant on our radar. Okay, hold on, Jameson. I'm actually going to... Let me just hop over to YouTube real quick and check out this IHU variant stuff. Let me just see if anybody's... IHU variant... Got a little thing pulled up. The IHU has 46 mutations. It was first spotted in southern France and is linked to travel to Cameroon, according to a preprint study. Researchers in said the vaccinated man who yeah. So it's mutating off of if it's mutating off of vaccinated people to still attack us. This feels like biowarfare to me. It really does. It really does feel like China's fucking been up to something, or this was a goal set by some insidious group of chemists. It would be hella unfortunate if it was an accident and China still won't cop to it. And it was just genuinely one dude was like, whoa, and dropped the wrong test tube. And it, you know, got out. I don't know. I hate the story. I know that. I hate the situation. Endlessly. I wish it had never happened. But while my life changed dramatically through it,
I saw news stories come out this morning confirming, admitting
some things changed for the better.
Thousands of federal paramilitary, including U.S. military.
Not globally, but personally.
And we never talked about it because it was extremely classified. And the people
gotcha.
I know the information from obviously can't get into it. But
He's
see, they
here.
hide behind the classification of January 6th. We know how they did it. We know who did it. The freaking FBI ran the attack on the Capitol, and we have all the damn information.
He is heated about it today, too.
And people say, well, why didn't you cover it all?
He ain't feeling the
when you're in the
bullshit.
middle of this and all this stuff is going on and happening, and then you just subconsciously know, you go there, they come set you up and kill you. Well, you know what? We're releasing it all. Burn it. But again, it's the fact that it's all hiding in plain view. And then they worked with the Secret Service to try to set
Yeah, you should get it, Sean.
And then they got the nerve with all those criminals in Capitol Hill to try to say, I'm behind the damn attack. So I'm pissed, okay? I'm not pissed at the criminals. I'm pissed at
I will
the
say,
criminals, and can
I
barely
don't think
do
he's
shit.
guilty of the Jan 6 shit.
Freaking BS, man. Bunch of damn criminals running this country. Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm sick of their shit. Fuck these motherfuckers. See, I gotta go to rebroadcast. Go. Ugh.
That's how Sean came in today.
All right, I'm gonna call God. Please help me. Please, God help me. I'm so sick of these criminals. Does everybody get? We're all gonna get destroyed. These are serious killers, serious criminals. All these morons going along with the Great Reset are destroying their own future and just sitting there like you're on a winning team, bringing in pure evil. That evil is going to destroy you. But you're delusional and think you're part of the team. Think it's all cute what you guys have done. And you sit there and you follow your orders.
Came in hot today.
We're going to go to break. And I'm going to come back and I'm just going to tell you.
Nothing wrong with
we have
it.
two special guests in studio today. Mike Adams is going to be in studio. I haven't been here in a while. And then we have another.
Never change, honestly.
Blow wide open the whole New World Order takeover and the brainwashing. I'm going to settle down there too. And then we have a special guest.
It's probably me being
on January
catty.
6th in the 4th hour. When I first got on air 28 years ago, if you talked about the New World Order.
If you talked about the New World Order, you were laughed at. Now it's a trending topic on the YouTubes. And he's like, but I didn't start it. But I didn't start it. I didn't start that shit. And he didn't start his talking points. He's not he covers news, man. One of the reasons I watch Alex Jones so much, man, is just again, his format is he has news in front of him. People hand him news. They talk about it. Check it out. React to it. Move on. He doesn't really make his own headlines unless he's getting a divorce or went to like a globalist meetup and raised a stink. I don't know. I still don't get it. Don't see the harm in the main. What is this comic? Young lady, do you know why I pulled you over? There's a whole bunch of children and a happy birthday thing, and she just says, because you want to date me. I'm very confused by this politically charged cartoon. Are you hating on Biden? That's cool. So they got political cartoons now. I didn't know that. Are these NFTs too? George Floyd's past shouldn't be held against him. Did you see insurrection? I knew she was no good. Okay, I don't. Some anti-liberal stuffs. High gas prices, inflation, open borders, woke military, high crime. I mean, word. Look at that political cartoon. That was wild. All right. Opinions, U.S. news, science and tech. Let's check out his science and tech section. What does he have in here? Discovery of the least metallic stellar structure in the Milky Way. What? Telecom operators agree to delay a 5G rollout. Yeah. Joe Rogan joins Getter in anticipation of censorship on Twitter getting even dumber. What the fuck is Getter? Oh. It's like a Twitter alternative. Do y'all use that shit? I'm scared of the crowd I might attract if I hopped on it. To be honest with you. Spooky. Why does this keep going to fucking light mode? Anything extra cool happening today? Any new trailers? Anything? Lyft driver.
This 38-year-old Lyft driver, after being rear-ended and carjacked, he pulled his weapon and fired shots at both vehicles. The vehicle that was stolen from him.
I did, Jameson. I've been trying to see. It disappeared from my feed. Trying to find that. Thank you. I'll go that direction.
And now they're both at the hospital as prisoners. Very dangerous situation. Fortunately, our Lyft driver, our victim, wasn't shot because he had a rifle put to him, and our Lyft driver had a weapon that he used, and he shot both of the perpetrators.
So this case again illustrates why so many delivery drivers, food delivery drivers, pizza drivers, Uber and Lyft drivers are all running the gun stores and getting legal guns. Because this is what's happening on a daily basis all around the country and a lot of times here in Philadelphia. Bill, the other thing that you may want to get into is the armored car and tank business, because I'm sure a lot of delivery drivers and Uber drivers would like to be in a tank with a gun turret to keep themselves safe. And here's the other thing. What are you going to do now? You're driving around and you get rear-ended. Are you supposed to leave the scene of an accident and worry about getting a ticket, or have your car damaged by somebody who was maybe on their phone and rear-ended?
What? Fucking huh? Fucking huh? Oh, thank you, Jameson. Let me grab that. Let me snatch that link. Link snatching.
But first, she stood with her family in the name of racial injustice, and now she's become the victim of violence. The 4-year-old niece of George Floyd was shot on New Year's Day. Right now at 5 o'clock, family members are calling for justice once again. Little Ariana Delano was asleep in her bed, ready to bring in 2022 when a bullet hit her in the stomach.
Her family rushed her to the hospital, where she remains tonight on a long road to recovery. All this unfolded at the Park Yellowstone apartment homes just south of Old Spanish Trail near 288. KPRC2's Rilwan Belogan is joining us there live now. So Rilwan, I understand that you spoke with her father. How's she doing tonight?
Lauren Chris, her dad says that she's out of surgery and breathing on her own. Now, inside the apartment complex, along with Ariana, were 4 adults and another child.
My daughter was jumped up and said she had been hit, and I seen the blood bleeding, and that's when I grabbed her.
Derek Delane says his 4-year-old daughter, Ariana, was shot early New Year's Day as she slept in her bed. Delane said he had just come back in the house from lighting fireworks when the bullets went flying.
She wasn't out there, but like the grown folks was outside. They was in the house, sleep, getting ready for bed.
The 4-year-old, George Floyd's niece. Floyd grew up and was laid to rest in Houston. His arrest and death led to nationwide protests that called for an end to racial inequality and police brutality. The 4-year-old was hit in her bedroom in the 3300 block of Yellowstone Boulevard in Houston's South Side.
My girl had to jump in the car and rush her to the hospital.
Delane says she underwent surgery for a punctured lung and liver and several broken ribs. Houston police say they don't have a suspect description or motive for the shooting.
She healing very fast. Last time I checked on her, she was breathing on her own. She was doing real great.
Now, anyone with information should call HPD or Crime Stoppers. Live from Houston Southside, Roman Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
Man. Tragic.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan.
In the world where special guest gets his form of gun reform, we get some ammunition that maybe wouldn't pierce through walls and hit people that ammunition that maybe wouldn't hit people that it shouldn't. Man. Ooh, we got a Karen in the wild.
Karens in the wild.
We got a Karen in the wild. Uh-oh.
Hello.
We're gonna take you off.
She looks like...
Yep, you're gonna have to get off the aircraft,
Yeah,
okay?
and you're at the...
Yep.
And I compliment you in that way.
But she's a representative of the aircraft. They don't want you flying on their plane today, okay? So you're gonna have to get off the
They
aircraft.
made us wait and wait and wait.
Yep, that's the way it is. But right now, I'm gonna
And
need you.
that's fine, and I will respect that.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to grab your bag and just.
She's slurry as all hell.
We'll talk about it outside.
Disruptive, besides speak my mind.
Okay.
I know it. I live in America, and that's what fucking America's about.
Calm down.
No, you know
Listen
that.
to me. Grab your bag.
You know that. You know that.
Give me another unit on the plane, please.
If you are ever gonna put hands on
Grab
me,
your bag.
no, I will grab my bag. But you know I'm gonna sit here and say that.
No one's
And
gonna
if
put their hands on you unless
all
you
right,
have to.
yeah, you
Grab
won't.
your bag and
Yeah,
just step
yeah,
off
you
the-
won't.
Okay, but I need you to get up.
No. You
Okay?
need me to get up?
This lady's drunk as shit. What's this lady hammered on?
That's
Whoa.
the champagne and Vicodin.
Champagne and Vicodin.
She was trying to
You may need me to get up, but you know what? I
She
feel
was
my
trying to,
life is a
yeah.
person, just like
She's
Jesus
going
was
hammer.
You need to call.
No, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna say what I need to do. And if you're gonna do whatever you feel you need to do to me, right? So I'm gonna say what I am meant to say. No, to everybody.
Stand up, man.
Everybody is
You're
doing
gonna
this.
get arrested if you do not stop.
I'm already gonna get arrested.
You're gonna.
This hippie lady, dude, this is... Put your fucking mask on. Put your fucking mask on. It's not, dude. Privilege. Look at the face. Look where I froze. Look where I paused.
I can't justify, like I can't support anybody who doesn't ask me, but at this
No, yeah. Put the fucking mask on. They're not going away either. We're China 10 years ago with the masks. Like, we're gonna be wearing them.
yeah, we're gonna be wearing it for a minute.
Get arrested if you don't stand up and get off the aircraft.
Yeah, they're gonna be around.
You want to get arrested?
Exactly.
Stand up and get off the aircraft. That's all you have to do.
It's not about that, man.
Okay.
You can
I'm gonna ask you one more.
Unknown.
I don't mind them. I mean, they pocket my glasses up and shit sometimes, so I'll ball out without one. But yeah, I try to keep one in my pocket for sure, especially if I'm going in somewhere that requires one. I'm not gonna be the bitch on a plane talk about like, I want everybody to know that I've never and it's never, you're never.
Time, and then I'm gonna have to.
We
put
get
my
it,
hands
lady.
on you, okay?
For what reason?
Because you're not
Let me
listening.
ask you that. You're gonna put no. And that's fine, that's fine. Why do you have a right to put your hands on me, though?
Okay, let's go, Russ. Come on.
No, why do you have a right to put your hands on me?
Ma'am.
What am I doing that makes you feel like you have a right to put your hands on me?
Yeah.
Seriously, though, can you tell me that?
Tell him to be plain.
Can you just help me to understand as a...
Can you tell me why I'm being detained? Like, legally, bitch, we already have. And get the fuck off the plane.
No, but it's too late. You're already detained.
Yeah, get the fuck off the plane, lady. It's over.
That's the point of you having an option.
Yeah, it's over.
You're getting off the plane.
Straight up. Yeah, you're getting off of this plane.
As a human that is
Yeah.
alive, why do you... Seriously, though.
Why?
Like, seriously. Why? Can you just tell me that? Like, I'm actually...
Why is it
At
happening?
this point, here's what's happening. They're going to deplane the aircraft. I'm going to take you off the
That was
plane.
already happening. Don't...
And you're going to jail. Just so you
that
know.
was already happening.
It won't happen
Okay.
if you get up and walk out with me right now.
No, it wasn't
I
happening.
don't too.
Right now, they're going to deplane. As soon as they deplane, you're going to jail, okay? If you do not get up. That's how it's going to work.
She's all entitled, like, I don't trust my options. Like, bitch, you paid for a ticket on a plane, you got options. These are your options. Fucking. Would you rather me.
Exhausted your options.
How about we turn these cameras off and kick you off this plane in the sky? But no, they wouldn't. They're gonna take her off the plane. It's hilarious.
System.
That's the way it is, man.
No, cool.
Are you
I want to trust you. You want to trust me? That's not healing. We're not healing.
Okay, get off the
That's
plane.
not
Come on.
healing.
Get off the plane.
It's not healing.
You do not.
Now she's pro healing. She's turned heel. This isn't healing. This isn't how people heal.
Understand the people that do choose to cause a problem,
Yeah.
specifically at the airport or on the plane, because
What do you think you're gonna accomplish causing a problem at an airport?
you're all in the same plane.
How many crystals do you think they have in their pockets?
They all
This lady guaranteed Justin smells like patchouli. Dude, maximum crystals. She's like, everybody take this piece of amethyst and pray. Imagine a circle of light around you, all of you, and I'm gonna sit right back down, no mask, and we're gonna fly. Like, fucking, huh?
Just wear a mask, Hippie.
Let's go. Off the plane. Grab your stuff.
She got the underdreads.
Can I touch you? Listen, have I touched you yet? I'm trying to get you off the aircraft. That's all we're trying to do.
Do a control situation. If I get off the plane, you said you wouldn't arrest me. So you.
If I get off the plane, you said you wouldn't arrest me. How can I trust this? But you don't have options. It's the police. I don't know what town and I'm assuming the heartland you come from, but that entitlement does not extend to this plane trip. This flight does not have. You don't get to do whatever the fuck you want.
As a cop should have to honor that, right? No, you should though. You should have to honor that. That's my right.
Go talk to the captain. Tell him we need to remove her.
It really is though. That's my right. Like you need to. No, we're getting to the point where you're not you're not respecting my human rights as a constitution.
You're not suspended my human rights according to the Constitution. No, you've been resisting arrest this whole time. Now he is arresting you. They gave you a free, you know.
You literally threw your rights away.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. You
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. Straight up.
That's not cool. I didn't do anything that did anything to. No, man.
Or you violate. Thank you, long tour. Exactly. Or you violate my human rights if you stop me. Yeah. You had to go shovel what, Christy? Oh, snow. Shit. It's like -17 there. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know it.
29 Central, 10:15.
Oh, yeah. If you're a plane marshal, don't kick someone off a plane while it's in flight.
Up against the wall. You're gonna be placed in handcuffs, okay?
see your phone.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
Dude.
we tried talking to you.
No, you really didn't. I talked back to you, and I was calm, and you honestly acknowledged me.
I think after we've all seen this tape, she was the opposite of calm. She was being very loud and inebriated on a plane. Which I'm not going to throw shade at being inebriated on a plane.
No, that's not the problem.
Like, I don't drink anymore, so I eat hella edibles before I get on a plane. I mean, at least 500 milligrams of edibles before I get on a plane.
I mean, there's a difference between being inebriated on a plane and being way too inebriated on a plane.
Yeah, seeming like you chase Xanax with champagne. You know what I mean?
And then still ask for a bottle of whiskey when you get sit down.
And then still act like the world needs to bend around for you on a plane. On a public flight, bitch. Yeah, she's in coach. She's not even first class acting like that. How you gonna be in coach making first class statements? And talking about healing. What was the heel turn to healing? That one was bizarre. Like, she came, it was like her Karen showed at the when we first started this video, and we're like halfway through this interaction, and her hippie side showed. And she became a hippie Karen, which is a demographic rarely represented in Karens captured on film. They're normally out there with Sasquatch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, talking about some...
Yeah, they want to know Sasquatch manager, not Walmart.
Yeah, they want to know Sasquatch. Yeah, they want to speak to the head of the board of this co-op. And they want to know where they get, because they have receipts or whatever.
For a moment, and then
But there can be hippie Karens.
Why did you do that? Like that. You didn't have to do that like that. It didn't have to be like that.
Come with me.
I wasn't doing it.
Come with me.
No, man. This shit is fucked up, and you are a part of this system. It's fucked up, and you don't. You do. You looked at me. I saw you look at me in my eyes. That's not real, man. That's
Just grab her bag.
Real, man.
Yeah.
She's talking about eye contact, man. You didn't get up and walk out.
Let's go this way. This way. We didn't have time to do things.
Fly Delta.
Fly right there, man.
This freakout is brought to you by Delta Airlines.
That if I got up,
stop.
No, why would I stop when you lie to me? Lie to them.
You had your chance, ma'am.
I had my chance. You didn't even give me a chance. I looked at you in your eyes, and I knew you were lying to me. No, don't. You can't bullshit.
No. No, she says. All right.
You're better than that, dude. You're better than that. I saw you outside before I even came in with your mask off. No, you're better than that. That's not cool. That's not cool, dude. It's really not.
It's not cool, dude.
Person hurting anybody.
Yeah, she's telling her mom, she's telling her close group of hippie friends who are gonna be like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, guava fruit, or whatever her fucking name is. Dragon fruit. It's okay, dragon fruit, chrysanthemum. You'll heal. We'll heal. And then they rub crystals.
Person hurting. This is no, that's not okay. You're gonna fucking arrest me for what? What are you arresting?
Interference with flight.
I swear I knew a cheerleader type girl that ended up getting that same kind of shitty Xanaxed out bat tattoo around the elbow. And I really hope I don't end up having known this person. Boy, would that be embarrassing.
That's what you're getting arrested for. Okay?
I'm serious right now.
Yes, we are.
Are you serious?
You want to take it to the other side? We're just gonna pat her down.
Fucking cat.
Spitbagger, dude.
gonna pat you down.
Stands for me, please, all right?
Iris, Misty, Morning, Sunshine, Daydream.
This system is fucked, and you give me all the reasons to keep saying what I say. Like, in the eyes you give me, you do. Like, really, all of you, you know you're fighting for a system that isn't just to you all. You do, you know that. You know that. You really do. And if you don't, then that's just fucked up. I'm like,
Hey, have a seat. Watch your head. Yeah, it's been a lot of talk. I had to pull her off an aircraft, so I don't know how she's gonna act now, but she's been chirping the whole time, so we'll see how it goes. All right, ready to step out? Are you going to comply with everybody?
No, with you two, yes. Not with you, because you're a liar. Okay. No, he said literally the reason he has me arrested right now is because you looked at me in my eyeballs. I looked at you outside of the plane.
Yo, if you ever have the opportunity to plead your case to other officers, don't look this crazy. Don't seem this upset.
Before I ever went in there, you didn't have masks on. No, can I say something before anybody takes me out so that I can just say what I have to say?
No.
And then I can say what I have to say, and then that's... I will do what y'all want me to do because I'm here now.
Oh, okay.
No, it's... I don't get... It doesn't matter about that. What matters is that you have an unjust officer that's abusing his power, and you need to know that, Timothy.
Hey. Can I
RSW, my mother's a social worker, and you're about to, like, really, because
There's the entitlement. I was waiting for what her parents did. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was coming. I knew she was gonna say some shit. Like, my dad's a this, or my mom's a that. Her mom's a social worker, and that cop has it coming.
You made eye contact with me before I ever got on that plane. You acknowledged the fact that you weren't wearing a mask.
Hey.
And then you got on the plane, and then you made eye contact with me, and then you manipulated the situation. No, that's what happened. Like, I'm sorry, that's what happened. So, I know
It's not like a drunk dialogue with your homegirl. She doesn't, you don't have to apologize because that's what happened.
I'm not complaining, you guys. Y'all just...
They got paperwork to do.
Oh, yeah, I thought he was cute, too. I looked in his eyeballs, and I thought he looked into my eyeballs, and then he abused that.
Hello.
He abused the sanctity of the look across the twilight glare. Of the, like, cut to, he's like genuinely looking at the sandwiches on a rack behind her. Man. Yeah, this is a big example as to why I don't drink too. Yeah. I'm insufferable as a drunk. It's bad.
What's your name?
This is an
interference with flight operations.
No, seriously, please just get somebody
Her name is
What's your name?
Gabrielle.
I don't want to take anything to you, so when I'm saying that I am being arrested for things that are unjust, I was on an airplane. I was doing nothing. I was speaking. My mom.
I was having a great time, mimosas in the sky.
Oh, man.
I was just trying to burn some sage with no mask on an airplane. You can't do that.
We have to follow procedures, and we'll get to the bottom of it. You're not following my people, right? These are my constitutional procedures, okay? But I need to follow your procedures, right? Step out. Take your leg out.
She doesn't remember she's too drunk to remember her rights.
First, can we just adopt something that makes me want to be safe? Why can I not be safe? Hey, why is this like this? This is not my human right. Stop. I would relax if you would let me. You're not.
Is she good?
Oh my God, see. You're not
Fly Delta. Wear a mask. Wow. A son got arrested for card check. Sorry, I guess Karen's in the. It's a Karen rabbit hole. This is entertaining as hell to me right now, gang. This is. It says it's an armed standoff. Holy shit.
Why is this an armed standoff?
No fucking clue.
Oh, he gets arrested for charging.
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, I did know that. Sorry, I was looking for.
Hands up. Keep your hands up. Face away from us. Face away. Walk back to us. Hands up. Keep your hands up.
Keep your hands up.
Now, someone's not going inside your house or you're going to jail. No, leave your phone. I see the bitch in all of your fucking eyes. You need those guns. Unload it. Unload that fucking thing. Get on your knees.
Why would they unload it for you, dude? You stole a car and then drove it home.
I'll take over here. Step back. Coming back to send my voice. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back. All right. Down onto your knees. Take out that passenger in custody.
He might, Widget. Oh, you put it, oh, in the VC chat? Let me check that out. And I want to know is why are there cameras here? Oh, this is a classic video. Yes. Hold up, we got some classic shit by way of Christy, dude. This is classic.
36 dispatch.
Classic. Dude. You ever stolen a scissor lift?
680 North Edgeville Road. White mill,
Dude.
black coveralls, ball cap, white t-shirt.
Sir, pull that lift to the side of the road.
Sitting on 2 cases of Keystone. He should run. No, I like his move.
What the heck are you doing out here?
I'm working a job site right there, man.
Right down there. What are you doing down there? What are you doing in this thing?
I just came to get some lunch and sodas and whatnot for the guys.
The 2 cases of beer I'm sitting on.
Steve?
Well, Steve, I can't have you driving up and down the street in this Skyjack. You're sitting on beer.
That's for after. I'm not drinking.
I just came back to
What about that
Skyjack.
beer there?
Oh
I saw you
yeah.
drinking coming out
Dude,
the
I love
driveway.
this guy. He's a legend.
That one was from earlier. That's
Steve, I can't have you driving down the road in a Skyjack drinking beer. Why don't you come on down and talk to me here for a minute? Let's figure this out.
I gotta get back to work.
No, just come on down. We'll get this figured out and we'll get you back to
man.
work.
No.
Steve, come on down. Steve, come on down.
Hell no.
Get me. How about that?
I tell you what, Steve, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way.
Come on up.
The hard way, on the way to jail, we're going to stop by the hospital.
Oh, maybe I'll come down. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll come down.
Maybe I will. Maybe
Steve,
I won't.
Come get me.
Come on down. Just come on down.
Come
Let's work
get
this out,
me.
Get you back to work.
Oh, man, why don't you just go on your way and I'll go on my way?
I'm giving you one more chance, Steve. Come on down the easy way.
I know my rights.
All right.
And I'm totally allowed to drive a Skyjack sitting on 2 cases of beer.
Are you going to come down or are we going to bring you down, Steve?
Man, why don't you do your dang?
Go ahead.
751.
Bring her down.
What are you doing, man? I know my rights. I'm 2 blocks from my work.
Put that cigarette down.
247.
Put your cigarette down.
You made me call the firefighters.
KHP doesn't have anybody right now.
Want me to come in or you want to come over here?
Hey.
Hey, he's a mug. Hey, man.
I didn't. God dang it, dude.
Now stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Legend.
Fuck up my beer now.
We could have did this the easy way, but no, you had to do it the hard way, so.
Oh, my balls. He said it was cool.
Legendary. What else you got?
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's hilarious.
Pull over.
428, one of the GMC pickup truck.
Bitch got his license revoked, dude. Yeah, he can't. That's hilarious. Well, thank you for that, Christy. That's hilarious. Man. Well, I say we bring her on in for the day. And, maybe scheme up what we're up to next. Oh man, someone's analyzing the Bigfoot footage. See, this Bigfoot... What the fuck was that? Bigfoot? Switch account, bitch. I'm not trying to watch an ad while also looking at Bigfoot footage, yo. $4K analysis.
I'm a portrait wild, especially for something so large. But at the same time, everything is fluid.
The Patterson Gimlin footage. Yo, that Biggie's pretty thick too.
Apart from the
You know what I'm saying?
difficulty of estimating how tall it is, you can easily see how wide the creature is, how thickly muscled it is.
Keyword thick. Bruh. Know what I'm saying?
When we take a close look at the way the creature moves its legs, we find that it does so in a rather strange way. The creature lifts its leg off the ground with everything almost at right angles, before swinging its leg out in front of it to take a step.
Because he's wearing stupid rubber boots. Problem fucking solved.
You can see that it is heavy. The muscles move and quiver as they act like shock absorbers.
Gosh dang it, dude. Yeah, looks kind of like a gorilla that's upright, but also looks like a dude in a suit. Carrying some bad 70s padding. Not into it. Not into it. Well, I love you guys to death. Let's bounce on out of here. Oh yeah, the Brian Laundrie story. Fuck. Shit. Before I forget, hold on.
What now?
It was I originally titled the title of the business.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the Brian Laundrie business is that